wicket.
Are we back on?
We are.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, or perhaps even good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Hello, and we are back for the second innings of this match, the fifth and final one-day international between India and Australia. It's the decider, and Australia are coming out in the field, and they are trying to defend a total which I think, listening to you earlier, many people thought was a little bit under par from well, the way they started. They got off to an absolute flyer, but they ended Australia on 272 for 9. And the main scorers were Khawaja with 100 off 106 balls, Handsome got 52, and then lower down the order, Richardson and Cummins scored a few, but I think the general consensus was after a good start, they let it slip somewhat, Australia. Is that correct? You're not on mic, so we can't actually hear whether you think that's correct.
Yep.
So we're going to jingle up the Indian opening batsman.
That was basically what Armchair Cricket Podcast says. Australia lost 554 following Khawaja's dismissal. A few lusty blows from Cummins and Richardson towards the end ensured Oz finished on a competitive 272 for 9.
Well, we'll see how competitive it is. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan are the Indian opening batsmen, and we shall jingle them up shortly. Well, Australia could have, collapsed for about 230, so they did well at the end to get to 272.
Well, they were on 230 with 4 overs to go. So
yeah, but they could have lost a few wickets down at the end. The bowling for India, Bhuvi Kumar took 3 for 48. 2 each for Jadeja and Mohammad Shami. Kuldeep took a bit of tap, 1 for 74 in his 10 overs. But we're going to start the second innings of the match. And up to the wicket comes the unnamed bowler, and he bowls to the unjingled batsman. It's played into the leg side. It's a dot ball.
Let's have some jingles. Got this man.
264.
And this man.
Don't call it a comeback. He was never really here. He played a couple of tests and then disappeared. His body broke down like a balloon. But he's back now, taking wickets. Watch the lady swoon. Pat's gonna knock you out. Pat Cummins gonna knock you out. Pat's gonna knock you out. How out? That's out. Pat's gonna knock you out.
Yeah, he's been the best Australian bowler so far in this series. As he bowls to Rohit, who again defends into the offside. Another dot ball. He's picked up a bunch of wickets in this series so far. Cummins, he's actually, he batted reasonably well as well. So the relatively young, he's still only 25. He seems to have been playing forever, Pat Cummins.
Yeah, well, he came in when he was about 18, didn't he?
Yeah, I made this point earlier on air that his first test was like 2011, and he was about 17 or 18 then when he got his first central contract.
And he's taken 12 wickets in the series so far, up to this game. This is the 5th game of the series as he bowls to Rohit. Again, good ball just outside the off stump, and Rohit, very watchful in defence, just pushes us up to mid-off, dot ball. So, has anyone joined us on the tweets since we were last broadcasting?
Not yet, although I expect to flood them imminently, obviously.
Have you refreshed? So far in this series, Kohli is way out in front of the Indian run scorers with 290, but Dhawan hit a big 100 in the 4th game as Cummins is in again and bowls to Rohit, and this is found a gap in the offside. He's pushed it wide of mid-off. They've taken 1. They're going to come back for 2. They decide not to, probably wise. Good bit of fielding at mid-off. So India are on the board, 1 for no wicket off 4 deliveries. He didn't move his feet. He just found the gap in the offside, set off pretty quickly. They were thinking of 2 straight out of the box, but a good bit of fielding.
Yeah, it's gone to Finch's,
proper
hand.
Yeah, and he got up quickly, got rid of the ball, as you are taught to do. So there is a slip and a bunch of people in the circle, or if they're not in the circle now, they will be when the ball is delivered, because that's when it matters. As Cummins, right arm over the wicket, bowls to Dhawan, who drives, doesn't time it, And it goes up to mid-off. Dhawan, of course, left-handed, and Rohit right-handed, so it's another thing for the bowlers to worry about. 5 balls gone, 1 for no wicket.
There's also the fact that Dhawan is normally a fast starter and Rohit's a slow starter, but builds up more as the innings goes on.
Yeah, and that's a good partnership, because you don't want to get bogged down with 2 people who start slowly. But on the other hand, it does give the bowlers someone to bowl at, or someone they'd prefer to be bowling at early in the innings. Cummins to complete the first over. He's up to the wicket. Bowls, this is a bit shorter, and Dhawan tries to cut it through the offside and picks out the man at cover. A good first over for Australia, 1 for no wicket. Any tweets?
Lots of people
Nope.
joining us on here on Circle of Cricket. We've got Hassan Sajra Khan says hello. Anish Raj. Kirill Islam want India to win today. Manoj Chowdhury. Akash Gulab says India will win. Rohit Sharma century. Syed Kasim says Inshallah India will win today. And Kumar Shweet says win India today. So lots of people joining us.
Yep, a strong Indian batting lineup, and they will, I'm sure, back themselves to get these runs and to win the series. But there's a point I'm going to make, actually.
That's what it is.
I might wait for an over or 2 to go by, or I could just do it now. We've watched all this series between India and Australia, and we watched not too long ago an ODI series, India against the West Indies, as Richardson is going to start the second over of the innings. He bowls to Rohit, they think of a single, and
slow,
that was
wasn't
a bit sloppy, because it was very close to the square leg fielder, and Dhawan was well, they made it, but there was a bit of hesitation, and had the ball hit, I think he would have been home.
I think it would have been home.
It's never a good idea to take 2 steps down the wicket and then stop, because there's a lot that can go wrong from there. Yeah, we saw India play West Indies a couple of months ago. They won that series 3-1 with 1 match tied, and they've got every chance, India, of winning this series 3-2. So you would think that's reasonably good, but there's a caveat, as Richardson is into Dhawan now. He bowls a little bit wider, an attempted slash through the offside by Dhawan, doesn't time it, goes straight to cover. But Australia and West Indies, of the major cricketing nations, have actually got, I think, the 2 worst records in 50 over cricket over the last couple of years.
What, since the 2015 World Cup?
Well, Australia have been terrible in the last couple of years. West Indies have not been much better. And India at home, you would expect them to have had a little less trouble with both Australia and the West Indies.
It's true.
So I'm not sure that this is the greatest World Cup warm-up, as Richardson bowls on the leg stump of Dhawan. You can't bowl there. He flicks this out to backward square leg. Nobody has a chance of cutting it off. 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Yeah, the games that they won against the West Indies, they won pretty comfortably, but there was a tie, a dramatic tie, which with Hetmeyer, was it Hetmeyer's great innings? Or was that in the West Indies victory?
Hetmeyer had well, he had 2, didn't he? He had 2 in a row. One was the tie and one was the victory, I think.
Yeah, and this, again, Australia, when was the last time they won an ODI series? As Richardson bowls a little bit wider, is thrown clear through the arms at it to Dhawan, and he pierces the offside gap down to the boundary for another 4.
2 + 2 is on
That's 2 poor balls, one on his legs, easy as pie. The other one was wide outside the off stump in the slot, and Dhawan just threw his bat at it, and there was no chance of cutting that off. So Indian fans will be looking forward to the World Cup, obviously, but I'm not sure they're in that terrific form, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a spurious game, ODIs, though, isn't it? I mean,
Richardson's coming round the wicket now to Dhawan. This is a straight ball, but that means he can tuck it into the leg side. The sweeper comes round from deep mid-wicket, gets rid of the ball quickly, keeps them to a single. 11 for no wicket, 1 over and 5 balls gone.
and Australia aren't bad. You just don't, if it all clicks, then.
Well, they aren't bad. Look at their record.
I know their record.
Really
I mean, but in terms of individually, they're not bad. I mean, to a certain degree, you can get into a series and you suddenly get a bit of confidence, and that can take you an extra step.
But they've been playing very badly. Even before they banned some of their better players, they still had a terrible record as well. I mean, England what was it, 5-0 the last 2 series we played against them, was Richardson bowls, and it's very straight ball which Rohit defends. The end of the second over, 11 for no wicket.
That did include a match, particularly that England match in the summer, where there's no way England should have won, but it took a fantastic century from out of sorts century from Butler.
They did win, and
but yeah, Big Billy Stanlake had done massive amounts of damage by that point.
it's true. It's true.
You
But
know,
you know,
we lost two games in the
results.
West Indies.
And he's one that will be coming back, I presume, for the World Cup if he's fit.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be fit. Someone said that the other day. Some more people. So Raji Singh says nice commentary.
Thank you very much.
Anand Raju says India will win today. As does Gujjar Singh Heha. Abhishek Vitani says this is going to be a tough game. It could be a close game. I mean, highest total we believe to win a match is either 281 or 283.
At this
Delhi,
round.
and it's been 25 matches here, which is that's a fair sample for an ODI ground.
Venue. Yeah.
I didn't see the first innings, but apparently it wasn't coming on all that brilliantly to the batters.
Not a great amount of turn
Cummins
there.
starts his second over. This is very wide outside the off stump, and I think the umpire is is he going to give it a wide? I'm not
I think
sure.
that went just over the guideline.
Well, Shikhar Dhawan again threw his hands at it and missed the ball, and then looks beguilingly at the umpire.
But it was the length,
seems
I think,
like-
that might have saved him
Well,
there, because it was
it seems like
short.
it doesn't
Therefore,
oblige.
you get a better chance to get your hands at it than a fuller length ball.
Rahu L on Facebook is very prescient. Well, he's been to the future. All the fixes in.
As Cummins bowls to Dhawan, he can only defend this into the offside, no run.
As he says, India 177 all out. And he gives us the scores of each player. He says Rohit 5, Dhawan 28, Kohli 54, Shankar 8, Kedar 22, Pant 14, Jadeja 17, Kuldeep 18, Kumar none, Shami 1, Bumrah 1, extras 5.
Well, get an accumulator on that, because if they all come in,
What I'll be interested to find out is if you took all the batsmen's average score, would you get to the total or
yes,
not?
you would, because Kohli's
average is 60.
average, Rohit's average is large as well. Shikhar Dhawan, so I think you would do it quite comfortably. As Cummins in again to the left-handed Dhawan. This is on his pads, and he just tucks this into the leg side and takes a single out to deep backwards square. 12 for no wicket. Well, if all those come true, we shall be coming back to who was that? Was that Rahu L? You said?
Yeah, Rahu L. There's no real name.
Well, if it all works out, please get in contact with us and let us know what's going to happen
next
in the next game.
We'll have a back door to you, man. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, then if you could do us a favour and just click the subscribe button, that will
that would be very
not
nice.
cost
of
you anything, and it'll be quite useful for us.
Indeed.
As Cummins bowls again, this time to the right-handed Rohit, who just turns this to mid-wicket, where it's fielded. Ball.
If I watch my kids who watch these channels all the time, that's all they ever say. Please click subscribe, like.
Yes.
So please click subscribe,
and now
like.
we know why.
Yes, exactly.
Like us, subscribe us, tell your friends. And,
That's it. Share the content.
If you're on social media, then do put that out there. It doesn't cost you anything except a small amount of time, and it helps us.
And it helps us.
Helps us to help you.
And you
12 for no wicket.
And of course, you can tweet us at Gorilla Cricket on Twitter.
Absolutely. And we should also point out that there are other ways you can help us as Cummins bowls, and this is onto the thigh pad of Rohit. He tried to turn in the leg side and was slightly beaten for pace. Good ball from Cummins, still 12 for no wicket, one ball left of the third over. There was an inside edge actually onto the thigh pad, so he did get something of the bat on it.
Right, it can be a bit of a slow start.
It's a bit high anyway.
Yeah, it's not a question of LBW, but I just thought he was beaten for pace. He was a little bit. He's bowling in the approximately 140 to 145 kph.
It's pretty pacey.
So 88 to 90 miles an hour.
Yes, about 90. That's pretty pacey as Cummins to complete the third over. Bowls, and again Rohit doesn't try to do anything other than defend it up to mid off the end of the third over. 12 for no wicket. Do we have any tweets?
We do not.
Well, take that as a challenge, people.
I have refreshed several times.
Give Jason something to do, because he needs a purpose.
I'm missing my lunch for this.
You can have half.
Because, of course, Hendo wanted his habitual post-interval nap.
Yes, he does like a nap, does our Lord and Master. Right,
What did he call himself? I mean, I know Knuckles got a new title.
everyone has a title. Richardson, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Dhawan. It's a shorter ball just outside the off stump. He tries to work it into the offside, but it goes straight to cover. No run.
Speaking of Knuckle, he tweets in. He says, India and England, who most observers have as World Cup favourites, have been tested far more in ODIs in the last year or so than previously. This might be a good thing. It's a long tournament and they'll need to win games when they're not playing that well.
True, it's a bit like footy, isn't it? Maybe teams have worked us out.
Well, football tournaments, which tend to be shorter in terms of games per team, as Richardson bowls on the pads of Dhawan. There is a man out at deep backward square now to cut off that shot, so it's just a single. There are little swings of momentum, within tournaments. Even a football World Cup, which is only 6 games for each team.
Well, for now, but the next
yes,
2028 is going to be
64,
48 teams.
And then they're talking about 64. But I don't think that'll only be sort of one extra round, though, won't it?
I like Najeeb Bajpai, sorry. He says, can't you zoom into the screen you're watching, guys? We'd
Yeah.
love to be able to do that, but I think immediately we get slapped with lawsuits left, right and centre.
Richardson bowls to Rohit, again, not looking to do anything too dramatic at the start of his innings, just pushes it up a bit off. Dot ball.
Messenger says, don't deny Hendo his nap. You will only regret it and there'll be a Hendo rant.
Well, I'm trying to work out whether there's any correlation between Hendo's rants and when he has a lack of sleep. Maybe we can get some psychologist on it. I mean, God, they'll have a lot to work with Hendo, let's be honest.
What, in the psychologist
Yeah.
chair with Nigel Henderson.
Yeah, we should get Mike Brearley in to psychoanalyse him.
That was one of the...
As Richardson bowls, and a slightly edgy shot from Rohit goes down to third man for a single. 14 for none.
I did see a couple of years ago a fantastic sort of throwback from the 70s, which was John Arlott interviewing Mike Brearley.
No, Mike Brearley interviewing John Arlott, actually.
In a late night sort of smoky...
Yeah, it was a great programme. I've actually got a copy of that video. I've saved it to my hard drive. If anybody hasn't seen it, it is quite interesting. There's Jai Richardson round the wicket again to the left-hander. Dhawan tries to force it off the back foot. It goes back to the bowler. Another dot ball.
I think Jane Joseph is getting in on our man earlier, telling us to zoom in on the telly. It's just a zoom.
Zoom.
No, we're not going to zoom in on the telly.
Zoom. Remember Zoom by the Fat Larry's band?
Oh, rings a bell.
That was
And
a single in the 80s.
And our no longer present partner, Zoob.
Yes, of course.
Zoob.
Sharif says a very good beating by Rohit.
As the next ball is worked into the offside by Dhawan, and was that Ty at cover?
If he is, and then who's he on for?
I don't know. I thought I saw that on the back of the shirt. Anyway, it was a single, and that is the end of the over. Any more tweets?
Nope, up to date.
Kiran Shingavi says it's going to be a close chase. It is indeed. Naveen Bajpai, it's very sweet of you. He says, anyways, you're doing a fantastic job. I think someone was abusing us in a language I don't understand. Try your hands at a real commentary with any of the channels. She will get the job. All the best. God bless. Well, we have had people who've gone onto the BBC for a previous incarnation.
And we have ourselves
exactly.
been official broadcasters of test matches and international T20s and other sorts.
Indeed.
Such things.
We did Ireland's inaugural test last year. We were actually at the ground doing a radio commentary from there. So we have done it before, Navi.
Cummins' third over to Dhawan is again a shorter ball, and Shikhar can only push it back to the bowler. So this is a reasonable start. There was one bad over from Richardson, his first, but since then India have been pegged back slightly in this power play with only 2 men out. But they won't be looking to go bananas. They don't bat like England do, with Roy and Hales and Bairstow up the order, trying to hit every ball for 4.
No, well, Rohit's quite a slow starter, isn't he? He just knows if he gets in and gets his eye in,
he gets
he's
50 from 60 balls,
exactly.
and then 100 from 85 balls. Is it edged? Are they going up for caught behind, and the umpire's given him? That's the end of Shikhar Dhawan. 100 in the last game, but he's out for 12 in this one.
Oh dear, oh dear. What should I give him? That one.
Well, it was a shorter ball from Cummins. He tried to force it through the offside, did Shikhar Dhawan. Got a thin edge, and Carey looked slightly surprised that the ball nestled in his gloves. He doesn't look at the highest quality wicketkeeper, I have to say. But he held on comfortably, and an early wicket for Australia.
Well, Cummins is, for me, has been Australia's best bowler for the last 6 months or so. I think he kind of leads from the front now. I think he's confident in his ability.
Well, he must be close to being first on the name sheet at the moment.
Absolutely. He runs in hard, hits the deck hard. And I was saying earlier in the series, I think, he got picked when he was 17. It's the same with footballers and all that stuff. You actually, whilst you still need to bulk out for those extra 3 or 4 years into your early 20s.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
stress. And he had trouble with injuries as well.
Oh, yeah. It was lower back problems, wasn't it?
It was, but he's been
stuff.
much better and much more consistently in the test side, in particular for the last 2 years. And he's gone through the growing phase and the conditioning phase, where he knows exactly what he needs now to play international cricket in terms of his body.
And has his, in the modern idiom, workload been managed, would you say?
Certain
He seems
amount.
to play almost every game, doesn't he?
Certainly the test series, but then again, maybe that's it. Maybe he was young, mate. He had all these
Some people
things.
just need to bowl.
Some people need to bowl, and some people also they have a lot of injuries early in their career,
James Anderson,
and then their body
settles
settles
fit
down.
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, a new batsman has come to the crease. We will jingle him up shortly, and the first ball to this unnamed batsman has been nudged into the offside, straight to point. No run, and let's have a jingle for this chap.
I'm going to find a different jingle because we've had that one.
Okay, we'll give you a clue. He's the captain of India. He has 41 ODI hundreds.
The Indian says signals that they'll knock us on her arse. The pitches are prepared without a sign of grass. The score is mounting quickly and they've got a talking lead. We don't mind the challenge, it's the beating we don't need. He lets loose all his shots when the bowlers are fatigued. And we wait to find the match is dead and our doom is for rat. And Davey Warner rides around and says, Kohli's the cat, Kohli's the cat.
And he's off the mark with a boundary as he's just driven this through the extra cover region. There's nobody out there. That's going to be 4 runs.
Yeah, what's going on here? Ooh, it's all jumping around. Sorry.
Very full ball, almost a half volley. Kohli didn't try and hit it too hard, just angled the bat in the right direction and picked up the boundary as Cummins is in again. This is on his thigh pad as they come through for a quick leg by. Cummins has a kick at the ball, aiming towards the stumps.
He's just put it round the post.
He's put it wide. I don't think the batsman would have been out even had he hit, but...
No,
you don't want a bowler standing on the ball. Glenn McGrath.
Bare excuse number 2 for vacating the studio, as opposed to
just come back with one beer.
Coming back from the woods.
Yeah, we've looked at the slow motion replay, and even had he hit the stumps, Rohit would have been home. So that single to Kohli takes him to 5, 24-1, and Rohit Sharma is about to face the last ball of the third over from Pat Cummins, the 5th of the innings. Cummins has 1 for 7 off his 2.5 overs so far. He's up to the wicket. He bowls, and this is driven, but outside edge down towards third man. It's gone wide of the third man, who can't get round to cut it off. 4 runs to Rohit. Well, a wicket taking over for Cummins. It also went for 9 runs, and it's brought in Kohli. So you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Well, indeed. Dadato Borje says, I think too much experimentation costing India from last few not everyone. Not everyone getting enough chances just messes things around. Bad for the team selections. But I think coming into a World Cup, I think that's kind of what England did a bit in the West Indies. I think someone asked earlier about Jofra Archer. Suddenly Jofra Archer's in the frame. You're coming into a World Cup. I think everyone gets. I think England are pretty settled. I think India are pretty settled, but they're just trying to look at the fringe players, the people who might make a difference. And
I don't think that's true. I'm going to disagree with you, Ben.
Really?
We don't usually disagree. I think England's batting is pretty much settled, but their bowling is not all that great. If they think Archer can be a difference maker at that level, I think they probably ought to bring him in. Anyway, Richardson, sorry to cut you off, is going to bowl to Kohli. He just angles this down to third man. He takes one, he thinks about two, but there's never going to be two there. Single to Virat.
I think you get me wrong. I don't disagree with you. My point is I mean, even in the bowling, they've probably got 3 or 4 in mind. They
have, but even
precisely, you've got a squad. You've got a squad of 15, so they're trying to figure out who those squad players are who will make a difference in a tournament, in a long thing. And Jofra Archer may well be the answer. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
People were talking about Chris Jordan coming back in the ODI side after the T20 series.
Well,
and,
yes.
these are the places that they've got a pretty settled idea of a probable 11, and then there's another 4 places that they could possibly use.
I think the 7 batsmen, they're pretty.
Yeah, they are, but you've got to allow for injuries as well.
Fixed. That's true. As Rohit faces up to Richardson, defends into the offside.
And
you really don't change your batting for the conditions.
No.
Well, they don't need to,
whereas you change your bowling for the conditions.
And to be fair, of the 7 or so bowlers that they're probably looking at, the only 2 I think have probably got no competition from anybody else are the 2 spinners, Moeen and
I was going to say
Rashid
is the only, I would say, world-class bowler in the England setup.
But your second spinner's Moeen.
The second spinner, Moeen, who is going to
There's
play.
also a batsman, yes, exactly.
all the pace bowlers are much of a muchness, I feel.
The next ball is forced into the offside, but he can't pierce the gap, Rohit.
Well, Stokes is going to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he's
So
a
there's
batsman.
3 bowlers. Yeah, well, exactly. But
Well,
he's also a bowler.
you do need 6 or even 7 bowlers if you can get them, because you need to be able to have the flexibility to mix and match late in the innings.
If they think that, for example, if they think Mark Wood can't last the tournament or maybe in and out,
Well,
they might want Jofra Archer as well. I don't think there's a reason why you couldn't have both in the squad.
I just think I'll explain a little bit more after this ball as Richardson bowls a full ball which is driven through the offside out towards extra cover by Rohit. No one's going to cut that off. It's another boundary.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
England are currently a very successful team in 50 over cricket, and the reason they are is solely down to their batting.
Yes.
As I said, they've got one bowler who I think would probably get into every team in the world in Rashid. I mean, he doesn't perform absolutely every game, but who does? And the other bowlers, I'm not sure any of them would walk into many of the other top sides, as this is angled down to third man by Rohit for a single. So if Jofra, and I've not seen very much of him, I have to say, if they think he's got that little bit extra, and I don't think there's much risk in bringing him in, because I don't think he's taking the place of somebody who's an outstanding bowler.
No, I agree with you 100%.
And also he's a brilliant fielder, and by all accounts,
he's a
capable lower order batsman as well.
Exactly. No, I don't have a problem with him. I've just never seen him, and
Right.
I really don't have a problem if he's going to make a difference to the side.
And the point you make about Jordan and Willie,
well, Willie, you see,
you were
doesn't
saying
make
earlier,
it for me. I don't
think he does, not in 50 over cricket, as
No.
Richardson bowls a very full ball, and this is turned
Oh,
up to
wow.
mid-on. If he hits
Oh!
it close, he doesn't hit. It was hit straight to the man at mid-on, and they went off very, very quickly, and I'd like to see a slow motion replay to see how close that would have been had the fielder managed to hit the stumps. But we've gone to adverts.
I should get some tweets in. Umpo talking to Gorilla Cricket SA and Evil Scooters talking about the Afghanistan Ireland Test match. Says yes, we are doing it, and I will be on comms on Sunday, and
Yeah, it starts on Friday.
and Bear will be in here on his
day
birthday.
1 too. Yeah, at 4:30 in the morning. I didn't think this one out, did I? Really? On Saturday morning, Knackle, if you're listening, I've got to go off at about 10:30 in the morning. I won't be here for the last bit because I've got to go and pick up my son from football.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says no Rahul today, and Kohli walks into his customary number 3 position. Much will depend on this partnership for India to mount a successful chase. Mia Katie talking about the squads for the World Cup says,
As Cummins bowls to Kohli, again angling it down to third man. He can't keep this man quiet, and he just takes a single at will.
is this assuming that Chris Jordan is in the squad? I have him before Jofra Archer.
I'm not assuming any such thing, but
that
that
been,
wouldn't.
it's
it-
close, isn't it?
It would have been close had he hit that run-out chance in the last over, but I'm pretty sure he would have made. The batsman would have just about made it, only by a few inches. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the stumps were not hit. If you don't hit, you're never going to get a run-out.
Well, Rohit Sharma needs 46 runs to become the 8th Indian batsman to achieve 8,000 ODI runs.
Cummins, a quicker delivery, is a shorter delivery, and Rohit can only defend off the back foot to point.
Beijing Ducks have been in contact and say they're going on tour in July in the UK. Please help promote us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that point that Katie said. Did you complete it, or did I?
No,
Was I not listening?
She just says she'd have
she'd
Joshua
have,
Archer before Chris Jordan.
Or she said she'd have Chris Jordan before Joshua Archer.
Oh, the Ducks, maybe if you're around about London, pop us a call. You might want to come in. We're pretty much open house here if people want to join us.
Cummins bowls, again a little bit shorter, and again Rohit defends.
And it's for a good cause. It's for charity. They're doing raising funds for, I believe, motor neurone disease.
Oh, cool. That's all very interesting. Did you see that program about Parkinson's the other night?
No, I didn't, but I heard about it.
It was very good. Quite sad.
Yes, there's somebody who's come into us a couple of times, Pete Langman, who's suffers from that horrible disease at a young age, and has written what I believe is the standard book for people who've just been diagnosed with Parkinson's, which is horrible, but they're working on it. It's a shorter ball which hits Rohit, or he either got that on the handle or he wore that on the chest, but it surprised him.
That's climbed a lot.
And that got up. It got up quickly, and let's have a look exactly what that did to him. It was a short ball. It caught him on the glove.
Thumb, wasn't it?
That could be a finger breaker if you catch that in the wrong place. Gloves or no gloves, and it bounced from his glove onto his shoulder. And so he's felt that in a couple of places. Takes the glove off, but seems to be moving his hand pretty freely. Does Rohit Sharma?
He's a hard man, isn't he? He's
got a bit of padding.
Naveen Badge Pie says, who do you think will be the X factor in today's chase? I think it's Kohli, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's where the money is. The next ball is defended by Rohit. Again, a little bit shorter. Push straight to cover.
Although Rohit's also a man, he could explode and get you a massive 150 in no time at all, couldn't he? It's always a possibility.
Well, he's got double hundreds, more than one in 50 over cricket.
3, I do think. Has he got 3?
Yeah, 264 being
the biggest one.
The biggest one.
Messenger says, things you expect to hear on Gorilla Cricket number 160. I didn't really think this one out, did I? #bear blunders.
What was that for? What did I say that
remember,
for?
Cummins bowls, and this is eased into the leg side. They're going to take one. There is not a second one there as the throw comes in quickly. The end of the 7th over, it's 33-4-1. What did you not think through?
I don't know, I can't even remember. Kiran Shangavi says this is a real test of the Indian middle order. Always is. The problem with the Indian batting lineup, I think,
it's 5 and 6. They don't get enough game time.
They don't get enough game time, and that's what really screwed them up in that Champions Trophy in England. Rohit and Shikhar got all the runs, and hardly anyone else had to do anything until they got to the final, and then they were stuffed.
To be fair, you could argue the same issue with England as well. They've got a dominant top order, but on the few occasions that they collapse,
Butler's got a fair. Butler comes in and does things. I suppose he's now. They've actually been moving around the order, haven't they? If the situation demands that you want Butler in, he's kind of the star turn. That if we're 190 for 2 or whatever, or 1 even,
he can press on from there.
He can press on from there. So if you're in the 33rd over before you lose the first wicket, you don't wait for him to come in. You just send him in.
You say press on, but I think the opportunity is that with that scoring that well at such an early stage in the game, he's allowed time to build his innings from scratch.
That's also true. But they have people with different
and
gears.
Then he can explode.
Morgan is one of them, and Butler is another one. Anyway, Rohit just had some treatment. Probably had some cold spray on the hand that was hit by Cummins as Richardson starts the next over. It's the 8th of the innings, bowling to Rohit, who mistimes a drive, and it's a dot ball. Again, we're looking at that potential run out, and they've measured Kohli's maximum speed at 32 kilometres per hour.
Thinking that he probably should have had a word with him about running straight down the pitch,
even
though it's the second innings.
And he didn't really run his battings properly either, as Richardson bowls to Rohit off the back foot. He's found the gap, pierced the 2 fielders at cover, out to the boundary, 4 runs.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
Well, Dadaso Borge has similar concerns about India. He says the Indian batting was all set. The concern was number 4. They've had I presume DK's Dinesh Karthik, Rayudu's out now, and eventually they're making Vijay Sankar. I mean, they're doing a similar thing. They're going through the options and figuring out who's going to do it. But I don't think you have to worry about one place necessarily. I mean, if you've got options,
as Jai Richardson bowls, and Rohit's feeling for this outside the off stump. I don't think he quite meant it to go down to third man, but it does go there, and he takes a single.
Knuckle is talking to Mia Katie and says, my England World Cup squad at this stage would be Roy, Bairstow, Root, Morgan, Stokes, Butler, Moeen, Archer, Wokes, Rashid, Wood as the starting 11, with Hales and Billings the spare bat, Plunkett the spare seamer, and here's the left field pick, Liam Dawson as the spinning all-rounder.
Yeah, I don't like Dawson.
Richardson up to the wicket, bowls a shorter ball, and Kohli defends back to the bowler. Richardson, who's... Sorry, Carrie.
No, I don't like...
you feel he's very vanilla.
Yeah, there is very vanilla, but you can also see the point of him in an ODI where he just darts in at leg stump.
The old Treadwell type situation.
But I think, it's a bit one trick.
Sorry, who was that
these
from,
days?
that tweet?
Knuckle.
Okay.
We also have
He shouldn't be allowed
short
16
third band
man
saying,
balls as
I
well.
wish Thick Shikar was a bit more consistent. He can be devastating when on song, like we saw last game when he got 143 and looked like God, basically.
The next ball is driven by Kohli up to mid-off. It gets there quickly, no chance of a run. I mean,
But
we're talking about, Knuckles talking about the third spinner for a World Cup, which is going to be taking place in very early season in England. And you're wondering quite whether there's a need for a third spinner in the squad.
I do worry about Wokes at the moment as well, because he's put Wokes in his starting 11, and based on performances in the West Indies, he wasn't.
Well, he was rested for half the games,
Yeah.
and he hadn't played for 6 months, which was a bit odd. Anyway, Richardson to complete the 8th over. He bowls to Kohli, gets an inside edge. It goes to mid-wicket. It's a dot ball. The end of 8 overs. India are 38 for 1. Rohit has 18 and Kohli 8.
And Roger McCann has tweeted in.
Hello, Roger. Are you in India?
He says, hi fellas, looks like a thriller on the cards. Delighted for the glammy Pakistan-born centurion.
Well, this is true. Roger's supposed to be in Dehradun, isn't
Our
he?
man in Dehradun.
Our man in Dehradun, indeed. I hope you are, Rog.
Hope
and
you're wearing
if
a white linen suit
We'll be,
and a
I hope
hat.
there's a signal so we can call
Absolutely. I think he should be there by now.
you. I imagine so.
Or
He was
going
literally-
yesterday, I thought.
Was he? I thought he was going out day before. I thought it was
Oh, okay.
quite a short
Well,
trip. I
do
thought
let
he-
us know, Rog, and if you get the opportunity to keep in touch with us whilst the game's going on, we'd be absolutely delighted to talk to you and get some colour from the ground.
No official accreditation this time, therefore.
No, but if he has some kind of internet access, we can still speak to him. The first ball
No.
of Cummins' 5th over is nurdled towards his wicket.
What, you mean anyone can turn up and be a...
No, I'm talking. The
No.
point I was going to make was
Oh,
he has to
right, okay.
hand his phone in at the security cordon.
Does he? Oh, okay.
You're pointing.
Nestle, you're in the way of my screen. Sorry.
Right, Naveen Bajwani, this is a lovely man. I love you, Naveen. He says, technology at its best. Watching cricket live at Kolta in Delhi and listening to our live commentary. What else? Superb combo. Thank you. Doli Bakshi, India will definitely win. Mohammed Waheed says, good morning. Good job for the commentary.
Another
Thank
quick
you.
ball from Cummins, and Rohit tried to ease this down to third man, but it went a bit too square. It was fielded by a charging point, no run.
I reckon this will be the end of his spell.
Well, I mean, as you're right in saying that he's far and away the most important bowler in this Australian lineup, and I doubt they want to use him up quite so early, because that'll give them very few
I am
options later on
kind
in
of
the game.
surprised he's bowled a 5th over, to be fair.
Yeah. But he's bowling well. He's got 1 for 13 off 4 overs and 2 balls so far, and he bowls to Rohit Sharma, who drives a little bit uppishly into the offside. It goes straight to extra cover. No run.
Dedeso Borge thinks that for the Aussies, Stoinis will be their X-Factor player for the World Cup 2019. He can be quite explosive, actually,
He can,
Stoinis.
but and we saw him earlier in this series mismanage a chase quite poorly, I have to say, which is not that's not a question of his,
But we saw his
skills, but
I
maybe
guess
his
one of the-
thinking.
I guess one of the first times we ever saw him was to manage to chase really well against us, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The 150 odd that he scored to
Yeah.
win a game.
Cummins bowls a short ball, and this tempted pull by Rohit. He couldn't have been far from getting a little nick through to the keeper, and Cummins throws his head back as if to say, "Ooh, that was close. Let's have a look." Well, it actually kept a bit low, and it went under the bat of Rohit. Considering Cummins' speed and where that pitched, it should have come through a bit higher.
Knuckle says, none of the seeming all-rounders, Willie and the Curran brothers, have convinced, although Jordan could be a late bolter and is a useful utility player. Dawson's in good form in the PSL and is a very useful lower order bat.
Yeah,
The fact he can bowl is almost a bonus.
Well, perhaps. Cummins. A shorter ball and digged by Rohit to mid-wicket. Another dot ball, and Cummins is not going for many runs. He's gone for 13, and he has one ball left of his 5th over.
It's very much reminding me of Bumrah in the first innings here, where he went 5 overs for 9 starting off. Got a bit of tap later on, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Although Bumrah is very good at bowling very full late in the innings and picking up wickets, especially when the chase is on. Last ball of the 9th over will be bowled by Pit Cummins to Rohit Sharma. He drives up to mid-off. It's a dot ball, the end of the 9th over, 38 for 1, Rohit 18 and Kohli 8.
Naveen Betway gets back in touch. He wants to know our plans for the IPL. He says, don't say no, convince your broadcaster, please. We are our own broadcasters. We make our own. We make our own choices here, and we are going to do some
they
IPL.
Ain't the boss of us.
We're going to do as much as we can. I don't think we're going to be able to do every game. Naveen, here you go. We are self-funding, so if you want to help us out, patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. You can get your name on the bottom of the little screen that goes across there for $10 a month. We have an archive, all the stuff we've done is $20. So we can't promise to do all of it, but we love cricket and we do as much as we can, and we'll definitely do the double headers at the weekends.
Richardson's 5th over. He's bowling to Kohli, who just defends to mid-on, no run.
And we'll try and do weekday games. There might be more pop-ups. We might not have a strict schedule of what we're going to do, because it will depend on who's available. I mean, they start 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, 2 o'clock in the afternoon before the clocks go forward. So people are at work. It doesn't take a lot of resources to do a T20, it has to be said, or an IPL game. So if we can get teams together, we'll certainly try and do some weekday games too.
Yeah, we are all volunteers as Richardson bowls, and this is driven by Kohli, not particularly well timed. It goes square of the wicket on the offside to the point fielder at the edge of the circle. Another dot ball. The target is 273, and India are 38 for 1 after 2 balls of the 10th over.
I think that puts the Ducks, the Beijing Ducks, are out of the GPL, and they went 6-4-1. It's an impossibility.
No, that's not possible. Jai Richardson, the 22-year-old emerging fast bowler from Western Australia, is up to the wicket, and it's a little bit shorter, and it's cut down to 3rd man by Kohli. Walks the single. Richardson has played a couple of Test matches. He's represented Australia more in ODIs and T20s.
Did he play one in the last series and he got 6 wickets?
Yeah, he's quite young for an Australian debutant. They tend to be a bit older when they find their way into the Australian team.
Well, they're having the same problem as us, I think. Shield cricket used to be up there, and now it doesn't seem to
Have you been
produce
looking at the
players.
scorecards from the Shield cricket this year?
No.
Incredibly low scoring as Richardson bowls a full ball, and Rohit probably could have driven that straighter, but he's picked out the man at mid-off and no run.
Well, they've done a similar thing. I mean, wasn't the bloody Big Bash 12 weeks long this year? Something stupid like that.
It was extended by about 4 weeks.
So, I mean, it's pretty much, knocking out probably the driest, hottest part of the season with the flattest wickets. Doing similar to what they do here, stick the bloody county games on either end in April when it's seeming around like a green thing.
Listen to this game that took place the other day in the Sheffield Shield as Richardson bowls, and this is driven up over the man at mid-on. Rohit's patience has snapped. He tried to drive a ball that wasn't quite there. He lifted it over mid-on and it cleared the fielder's head by a yard or 2, and it's down to the boundary for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Listen to this. Queensland 115 all out. South Australia 71 all out. Queensland second innings 130 all out. South Australia 131 all out. Queensland win by 43 runs.
Bloody hell.
Didn't they have a game where they,
that sounds like
had
40-20s.
25 wickets in a day?
I mean, that is, I don't know whether that's Australian batting at the moment, as this one is driven and into the covers by Rohit and well fielded by a diving somebody there at extra cover, missed it, and that's the end of the over. It was finishes with a dot.
Conor McNally makes the point that I was going to make, which was the Sheffield Shield is using a Duke ball now, and that's been blamed a lot for the low scores. Seems like rubbish to me.
This was a game which is
well, then bloody learn to bat against
another
it.
game the same time. New South Wales 130 Victoria 106 all out, New South Wales 135 all out. Second innings, Victoria 159 for 7. No one's getting to 200. Bowlers are absolutely loving it.
So no bonus points for anybody. And the Beijing Ducks also say Richardson, 5 for coming up. All my quack will echo.
10 overs have gone. We should be being replaced, and the vaguely sleep-ridden face of Hendo comes around the door, and I shall love you and leave you.
I don't know what's going on, but I shall play a jingle.
We need your alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Give us your money, and then we will be able to bring you all the cricket there ever is, ever and ever in the world.
And we'll be able to buy stuff.
And there's quite a lot of it.
Yeah, there is a lot of it. That's pulled away down to long leg by Virat Kohli. It's so pleasing to be in the commentary seat when Kohli is back at the wicket.
Which is most of the time.
Which is most of the time, actually. Is there any... yeah, most of the overs that India bat, he's out there for. It's 44 for 1, so a much slower power play from India than Australia, but they've got wickets in hand, just the one down. That was Shikhar Dhawan. Cummins took his 13th wicket of the series. What a series he's having. This is Stoinis bowling. It's hit him on the pad, very low down. Well, I thought it hit him on the pad. It's been given as 4 wides.
5 wides?
Yeah, Alex Carey's not happy with that. It will be indeed 5 wides. Surely that's flicked the trouser leg at the very least.
I thought so. Can you review that? Well, it could save a run.
Stoinis is unhappy that's been given as a wide.
Has anyone mentioned Stoinis' haircut? It's very odd.
No, let's have a look at it.
It looks like he's had a pudding bowl put on top of it and shaved around the outside.
Ah, right, maybe he has.
It's like a wig.
Wiggy, wig, wig. Here he comes again into Kohli, who's pushing, as Rohit actually, pushing out into the offside for a single. Maxwell, not surprisingly, hits the stumps at the far end, and then it is flown off the stumps out for 4 extra runs. Overthrows,
Stupid.
Brings up the Indian 50. We had something like that in the Australia innings as well, so that's levelled it up, I guess.
2 + 2 is on man.
We played 2 + 2 + 1 for the 5 wides.
Yeah, very good point.
Yoel's with us.
Hello, Yoel.
He says Sri Lanka are 97 for 7 after 25 overs. Sorry to say, I think we found the weakest World Cup team.
Well, I don't know, possibly. They're very inconsistent, aren't they? They've got 1 or 2 really good young players, 1 or 2 slightly older players like Angelo Matthews. They take a single here as it's eased into the onside. Khawaja moves round to field.
Is he still playing, is he?
Yeah, he was left out of the one-day squad, wasn't he, during the England's winter tour, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Rohit's gone on to 27, Kohli to 11, and this has been an expensive over. 3 balls effectively bowled and 12 runs already conceded.
1, 4 wides, 5-1.
Hang on, that... Yeah, because wides do go against the bowler now, don't they, in terms of runs. He bowls back of a length, and Rohit eases this down to third man by opening the face ever so slightly.
Dadaso Borga says, way back in my childhood 1999 World Cup, I remember Dravid Ganguly partnership, Donald's run out, Gribbs dropping the World Cup.
Oh yes.
It will be exciting edition in England. Venkatesh Rajapal says hi. Anik has joined us. Shamat Khan Wafadar says nice.
I have to say though, I mean, the last time we staged the World Cup, or England staged the World Cup, was that 99, wasn't it?
Yes.
God, well, England can't do worse than that, surely. Defended on the front foot by Kohli to short extra cover, misfielded again, that's poor. Although, this time they weren't quite aware, to take advantage of Turner's mishap there.
Oh, Kate Sims says, all cricket anywhere, Hendo. How about nipping over to Sri Lanka to cover the ICC matches between England women's and Sri Lankan women's? No one else wants to broadcast.
When is that?
apparently.
I don't know when that is.
It's going on now. Well,
No, this is
They're
stuff in
there
India,
now.
isn't it? No, they're not in Sri Lanka, are they?
yeah, they're
thought they were in
playing
India.
a Sri Lankan emerging 11 today.
It
So
says
that's why I
why they-
mentioned the score earlier.
Well, it says, how about nipping over to Sri Lanka?
Well, that confused me this morning because I think the BBC said they were
think
playing Sri
they've left
Lanka
India.
against in the lead up to an Indian ODI series, which I thought was odd because I thought they'd already played India. This is down to third man.
Don't believe the BBC.
No, exactly. It's the end of the over. Finally, 42. This partnership worth from 41 balls, 57 for one.
Anish Good, sorry,
That's all right.
Nestler says, cheers. Naveen Bajpai says, can you three tell us who will be the top four in the coming World Cup in England? And yes, who do you think will be the dark horse?
Well, the top four: England,
India.
I think New Zealand
Australia
and Australia.
Pakistan or something like that?
Well, Pakistan might be my dark horse.
South Africa might be my dark horse. I mean, I think I was seeing some of the guys on Guerrilla Cricket South Africa talking that they thought their one-day side was coming together quite well.
There's a little way to go yet as well.
There's a long way to go.
Abdullah Kazai has joined us, so has Mizanur Rahman Mizan. And MD Rajul Islam says Australia win the match. Well, we shall keep listening to us and we will tell you.
It's 57 for one after 11 overs, and into the attack comes Nathan Lyon.
He's lying.
Oh, that's delicate and beautiful from Virat Kohli. He's played the most subtle, enterprising, clever, little late cuts. Played ever so late, off the stumps, and fine of short third man who put in the dive. But with the angle from Lyon coming round the wicket, absolutely perfection. And now he goes back to the next ball from Lyon and forces it through the onside out towards deep mid wicket and picks up a single. He goes to 17. He's obviously upset that Usman Khawaja has stolen his thunder in this series by scoring another 100
Khawaja
today.
Thunder sounds like a T20 team.
Does indeed, the Khawaja Thunderers. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there is Sydney Thunder, isn't it? And I think that's
there's
who.
Lancashire Lightning, but that's a geographical feature.
I think the Sydney Thunder. This is defended into the offside by Rohit, but square where there is nobody, and they take a single. Yeah, 63 for one.
Denesso Borges says West Indies will be my dark horse. Gale back in squad, exciting players such as Hetmeyer, Hope, and O'Shane Thomas, etc.
Fair call.
Flicked through mid-on. Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot depends on whether they get Evan Lewis back in their side. I think he'll make a big difference. I mean, to me, he is the new universe boss. That 100 he scored for West Indies in 2017 at the Oval, and then only being forced off by having to retire hurt, was absolutely wonderful.
Was it Raheem Cornwall who had to retire tired during a T20?
Tired. I didn't know he retired tired.
Yeah, he did.
Flicked away. I could do that.
I
Flicked away to deep mid wicket for another single. That's the kind of thing I'd do these
I
days.
can imagine you.
I actually
Hendo
did that a couple of
retired
years
tired.
ago.
You retired tired.
I was in for about an hour and a half, and I just thought, sod this.
You couldn't be
I
asked.
can't let somebody else.
Was it hot?
It was reasonably hot, but in fact, I don't think it was that long. But it was just getting towards the end of the first innings of the match, and I just thought, well, let somebody in who can run, basically.
50 partnership has come up as Kohli steps back, allows that to come right close to his left thigh, and then turns the little flick of the wrist down to long leg and takes the single, keeps the strike.
Not Fred Titmus. Retired, couldn't be asked.
Yeah, I think I'd run 3 twos in that over or something and said that I've had enough of this.
Yeah, you get to a certain age where twos are no longer a good idea.
Yeah.
Jeff Perkins has tweeted in.
Hello, Perko.
Your Safa cousins are experiencing delusions from having played against Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Zimbabwe as
that's
build
what
up
it is. That's what it is.
as build up to the World Cup. My dark horses are the Windies, who have turned their ODI performances completely around from having been useless a year ago.
Yeah, but they were starting from a very low base.
Yeah, and also you've got to realise that, to be honest, they're incredibly reliant on Gale. Or they have been in those one days against England.
Hetmeyer is
Well, he looks a good player. He's actually done quite well in tests as opposed to the one dayers. He did get 100, didn't he? I think in the one dayers. This is whipped out to deep square leg as Stoinis starts his second over. Kohli moves to 20. Rohit's on 30 at 67 for one. We're in the 13th over.
And we saw him play 2 magnificent innings against India in that ODI series.
Oh right, okay. I didn't see that series.
He looked he looked like he knew what he was doing. And
But he won't have played over here yet, will he? Did he?
No,
So that's the
it's-
other thing
it's
to
slightly
factor
different
in.
playing
Yeah.
England.
And if he gets in early, it's a moving ball. We might be interested in that. Once again, a ball taken off the straight into the onside to long leg. Another single. Singles coming rather too plentifully for India at the moment.
We've had a direct message from Beer Me Now.
Beer me now.
I think it's one for the bear, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to sell.
Beer?
They want us to buy beer.
They want us to buy beer.
I think so.
Why don't
yeah.
you give us beer?
Why don't you just give us beer, or even sponsor us to drink your beer during the programme? That would be an even better idea.
Barry
Yeah.
Goodman says Hendo will be retired for pastries.
Oh, no, he's gone after that. He's got an edge through. My goodness me. Stoinis has got rid of the great man, Kohli.
Ooh.
And I have to say,
Ooh.
Beijing Ducks Cricket Club, you really are the oracle. They said that Usman Khawaja would get 100. They said that Kohli would get 20 odd, and he's got exactly 20, trying to force Stoinis off the back foot, gets a thin edge through to Carey, and he has gone.
That's a poor shot for him.
What a
Just-
strike that is for Australia. I think he was trying to hit that too hard.
Yeah, just as you say that, Beijing Ducks Cricket Club have
They've
tweeted in.
well,
saying-
there you go. You see, I
No,
remembered Beijing.
No, they're
Nothing
saying,
to do with that.
They're saying the Windies are also our pick for the Cricket World Cup. Afghanistan will do better than people will expect.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a wild card. I think people are interested to see what they'll do in very alien conditions in England.
Armchair Cricket Podcast. India picking up the run rate with the introduction of Stoinis and
Well,
Ryan.
that
until
tweet
now,
hasn't aged well.
Until now, yes.
India have a platform to chase to launch this chase.
Well, we have I suppose that's the tweeters'
Commentators curse.
commentator's curse, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And it depends. It depends how quickly their tweet is read out. To be fair.
It doesn't. I think this is Rishabh Pant coming to the wicket at number 4 for India, which is an interesting position for him. He could make the position his own. Oh, thank you.
We got
Short
another.
and
We got
sweet.
2 jingles.
Try another one then. Oh yeah, get on down. Jazz club, funk club.
You've sexed my short gender. Anyway, Pradeep Samanava says only commentary. Yes, it's true. It is only commentary.
That is only
But
commentary.
what commentary?
Indeed.
The Beijing Ducks have said, "Quackers, we did it."
You did it. You're brilliant. I'm going to come to you for my World Cup tips, please.
We should scroll back to Rahu L, who gave us the whole potential scorecard earlier. And if he's been right so far, then
He's brilliant.
he's either brilliant or he needs an ICC investigation.
Indeed. A slip comes in now for the new batsman, who is left-handed, of course. Stoinis will remain for the time being over the wicket. Might change that viewpoint or that angle as the over progresses, seeing how Rishabh responds. Only playing his 5th ODI, Rishabh Pant, but he seems to be much more experienced because he's had all that Test cricket, or been batting so well in Test cricket against England and against Australia. He's going to jab this into the onside. Stoinis has to run from his position as bowler to one at around square leg to field because there's no other closer or infielders, and he had to go at some rate because he was fearing that they might come through for 2.
That's not a very Kohli shot, that was it?
Scrambled seam.
I was
Yeah.
watching the New Zealand versus
Bangladesh
Test match the other day. The first 2 days were completely washed out.
Yep.
It only started on the 3rd morning, and New Zealand did really well, actually. But in the middle of the game, or before the last day, their wicketkeeper BJ Watling got injured,
Stoinis bowls, flicked up to mid-wicket, and there is no run.
and somebody they brought in just to do a bit of fielding practice, who is a wicketkeeper, was thrown in with the agreement of the Bangladesh. He's very nice of them, and allowed to substitute field
As a keeper.
wicketkeeper. His name was Peter Bocock, which is another phallic member of the Wicketkeepers Union. There are a lot of them, and he just looked so happy to be there. It was very funny. He didn't actually take a catch, and he didn't. To be honest, he didn't keep
Do
all
much.
that brilliantly. But it was just like, I never expected this, and all of a sudden I'm running out in a Test match. I'm shouting at the opposition. I'm sledging. I'm doing all that stuff.
Rohit runs this down to 3rd man. Yet another single. He plays that shot so well, so easily. And at the end of the 13th over, India have moved to 70 for 2.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says the fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in #Twitter Jinx, who is a cruel mistress.
She is.
Kohli is dismissed within a minute of a tweet of praise.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I like what you're going there with your bit of Julius Caesar.
Roop Singh says, India winner. Srinivas Das says, come on Australia. Pradeep Kumar says, why don't display score? Well, the score is at the bottom of the
Score is at the
screen.
bottom of the
Should be.
page.
And recent balls also. India WWWW says Sunil Rawat. And Pradeep
Sure what that
Kumar
means.
seeming to have difficulty seeing
possibly.
our scorecard. But maybe try and refresh and see whether that
Yeah, maybe if you're
that
looking
helps you out.
If you're looking at it on a phone, I don't know whether that makes any difference.
Perhaps.
Lyon starts his second over. Went for 9 in his first. He's in, bowling to Rohit, who just paddles it back to the bowler.
So if you are looking at us from Circle of Cricket, it's a pleasure to have you here, and we hope you're enjoying this commentary service. And we hope you come back when we next do it.
Well, we next do it as this one turns a little bit. There's a plea from both Nathan Lyon and then Alex Carey. Lyon thought by going down on one knee and imploring the umpire, he's more likely to give it out, but no, he wasn't. And Alex Carey resembled Nirishan Dickwella on that occasion with the old jazz hands.
That was not the worst shot, but he may have just got outside the line of off stump. I think it was probably going on to hit.
It definitely turned. Played off the back foot this time through mid-on by Rohit, who needs to do a job for his team here now. He's moved on to 32 from 42 deliveries. 71 for 2 is the score.
Bit interesting to see the Hawkeye from that delivery.
Really? I mean, it didn't even cross my mind that it was out.
I think the impact may have been a problem.
I think it was. I think I agree with you that it was it turned, and I thought it was probably going to hit the wicket, but I thought he got outside.
Mohan Kumar says you need to make someone moderate your YouTube chat.
Yeah, I've
Is
seen.
there a problem?
Well, I don't know. I think there was quite a bit of Indian-Pakistani rivalry going on there this morning.
We can't really do much.
It's very
hits.
difficult. I don't know
It's
what you
all
can do.
hits.
You can hide chat. That's all you can do. You can hide it if you
As
don't
long
want
as
to
they all
read it.
subscribe.
Lyon round the wicket to Pant. Pant goes back and cuts powerfully, but straight to deep cover.
If you want to see some really funny YouTube chat, watch when RT, the Russian TV, do the live coverage of the yellow vest demonstrations in Paris. It is unbelievable, the live chat.
Well, I can tell you that LBW shout wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
The impact was in
the
line.
impact was in line. It was just turning past the leg stump.
Or
a
over
little
the
bit
leg stump,
high as
slightly
well.
over,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't really take people who comment on things a lot on YouTube seriously, because there's some just ridiculous things put there. I mean, this is what happens when you open the world up to people. It should be banned, defended to extra cover, and there's no run.
Only you should be allowed to comment on things, Hendo.
Exactly. It reminds me of one of my favourite bands. I was going through some songs of one of my favourite bands a few months back, and every
Was it
time,
Prefab Strap?
funnily enough, and I kept looking down the comments, and this is turned through mid-wicket. They're going to take a single here. No, they've been forced to reconsider. Back goes Rohit. And I was looking through this, and on almost every song that I picked up, there was the same bloke who obviously hated them with an absolute passion, who was slagging them off.
Why would you go and listen to them just so you can slag them off?
Exactly. It's very, very strange, isn't it? Especially to have done it on so many songs.
The internet.
And in fact, actually, if you want to go and look, if you do look at our YouTube feed, you will notice, you know that thing on YouTube where you've got a little thumbs up and a little thumbs down?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd had when I last looked, we'd had 116 thumbs up, but 8 thumbs down.
Who are the 8?
We will
Who
find
are the 8
you
and why?
deal with you.
And what were you thumbing down about? Was it the fact that you couldn't find the...
We will find you.
Well, I was going to say
and
maybe-
we will kill you.
Maybe it was the fact that they couldn't actually see the cricket. That probably...
Not Fred has a special set of skills
He does
honed over
indeed.
many years.
Yeah.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says Pant in for a last audition before the World Cup. This innings might decide whether he goes or DK might get a spot.
Ah, yes, good point. Wide of the off stump, he's crashed that. He's hit it really well, backward a square. That's gone for 4 runs. A little bit too short.
Number
Striders.
of the day.
Bit too much.
Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
I'm just wondering, I mean, the way they've used Cummins in this series, I'm just wondering, they normally give him 3 overs at the top and then he comes back a little bit later. Not necessarily that that long after he's done his first spell. But I'm just wondering, Stoinis has got the important wicket of Kohli, but do you keep him on? Would you not maybe give your main strike bowler a little go at Rishabh?
Well, I think he's already bowled 5 overs.
Has he had bowled 5 now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's. I think they need to keep some in reserve.
Okay. Stoinis in, bowls, jabbed down to backward point where Maxwell fields with a big smile upon his face.
And we saw the Australian fielding be very sloppy for an over or two, but then since the Kohli's wicket, they are bang on it again. It's amazing how adrenaline works.
Yeah, well, Kohli can more or less take a game away from you in no time, so that's a massive boost to their morale. And to get him with really a ball that wasn't that great and probably should have been hit to the boundary. He just got it wrong, just played slightly down the wrong line. He's in again, onto the front foot comes Rishabh and runs it down to third man.
For those who love Seinfeld, and I am one of them, that Chad has sent in a gif of the Elaine Bennis dance, which is one of those great comedy moments.
But isn't that a celebration of Kohli's wicket?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's replying to Jeff Perkins, and it's to do with... I think it was possibly to do with Theresa May.
Oh, right.
But if you've ever seen Elaine dance, it's quite a thing. John Perry's tweeted in, he's writing a pub quiz book.
Oh, excellent.
I'll continue after this ball.
Stoinis in, too much on the legs of Rohit. He turns this easily enough out to deep square leg. Takes a single.
It's in Japanese. This is either going to make me a yen billionaire or the biggest waste of time since the last Dickwella jazz hand appeal. But in either case, I have your wibbling to keep me entertained, for which many thanks.
He's writing a pub quiz book in Japanese.
Yes.
Do they have pub quizzes in Japan?
I don't know.
They have a lot of karaoke bars.
Well, they imported it to here.
Well, you can't ask questions during the karaoke.
I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? Although you could have a quiz based on what people were singing, I suppose. Stoinis again. Running in to bowl to punt. That's a much better ball, fuller of length and on the line of off stump, which all he can do is defend.
John, do you know? Can you tell us? Is the pub quiz a thing now in Japan? It wasn't when I went there. I worked for a Japanese bank for 13 years. I don't remember doing a quiz night.
I didn't do a quiz night. I went to Japan in 1993.
Do you speak Japanese? Sure.
No.
So you wouldn't have been much good at a Japanese pub quiz anyway.
No, but I don't remember it happening, sort of thing.
Maybe they disguise it and you don't realise it's a quiz.
We went the same year.
Oh, right, okay. Nicely played this time, off the front foot by Rishabh, but straight to extra cover.
Is it not the most shocking thing when you got off at the airport and nothing was in English?
Oh God! Well, I went to visit. I went to visit a friend of mine who was teaching English out there for a year, and he made no attempt to learn any Japanese. And I just don't know how he got around. I mean, you know, normally if you're in a foreign country, if you're English, you know, it probably works the other way as well.
You speak low and loud.
Well,
you speak slow and loud.
But you know, if you're in Spain or France, you can take a guess at what things mean, or you may have a little bit of residual memory of your school days.
Latin languages.
Yes, all that sort of stuff. But in Japan, or I suppose in any of those countries which have those scripts as
non-Latin alphabets.
Indeed, it's absolutely impossible. I don't know how he found his way home at night. I really don't. 78 for 2. We're into the 16th over. It's Nathan Lyon coming over the wicket, bowling to Rohit, getting a nice loop on that delivery and threatening to turn back at him. He just defends with bat close to pad.
Jeff Perkins tweets in, I think we can safely assume that you will not get too many tweets from Chaddy75 regarding that British sport.
Defended on the back foot, but they're going to take a single because it's well placed by
Who
Rohit.
was that tweet from?
Say that again, I don't know that at all.
Chad was the guy who tweeted the picture of Elaine Bennis.
No, I don't know. I'm lost with regards to that.
Pub quizzes will be a big thing in Japan after this book is released, says John Perry.
It's always good to be ahead of the curve rather than behind it.
Yeah.
Here's Lyon then to the left-handed punch. Got to slip in place, and that's a good delivery, which all he can do is block.
Here's the thing. I've always thought that trivia is a particularly British thing. Am I wrong?
I don't know. That's a very good point.
Yeah. Because, I mean, pub quizzes are basically trivia, isn't it?
Asking, is trivia a British thing, in itself a trivia question?
Forward to the next one. This is a nice little over from Lyon. 4 balls, just the 1 run.
Gollum.
79 for 2.
Do they do it in France and Spain and Belgium and Holland?
I was thinking about America more than anything.
America?
Do Americans have pub quizzes?
We do
or the
have a
equivalent?
pub quiz expert in our ranks.
Who's
Maybe
that?
we should ask him.
Gaddy. This is cut by Punt out to deep cover. He makes good ground to his right, Adam Zampa. We haven't seen him yet, have we? But he can't be too far away. Take a single.
Well, he's back with points.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says, why not start a karaoke-style pub quiz where all questions are sung to the participant and answers are only accepted when sung back with backing channels?
Oh, I like that idea.
Dear, oh dear.
That'd be a great night out. Lyon in to complete the over, and Rohit goes back to this ball but can't find the placement or the power to pick up a run. Plays it back to the bowler.
I get annoyed at pub quizzes though. Well,
Why?
Well, just some of the.
Is it because it's Gary?
Well, no, I like good ones, but when you go to the sort of company as a pub quiz, and then they loads of questions about shit you don't know.
Like what sort of stuff you don't know?
X Factor.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's like my mother doing the
Oh.
general knowledge crossword, and all the ones she can't get, she goes, "That's not general knowledge."
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
Exactly.
right. I would know it otherwise.
Yes.
Trivia is definitely not a British thing. Huge here in the US, played across pubs all over
Well,
the
Trivial
place.
Pursuit was a huge game in the US.
So
Well, tell me
one
what.
tip, one hand, Edges and Sledges cricket podcast.
Tell me what would be a typical trivia question in the Americas.
It'll be about basketball and stuff.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Well, it'd be about probably the states, maybe the state capitals.
Dancing on Ice, US. US X Factor, US Pop Idol.
State capitals is always a good one over here, actually.
Yeah, because we don't know them.
Well, the ones you think you know, it's like, what's the capital of Texas, and you think you know it, and it's not what you think.
Talking of pub quizzes, I think Gaddy may just have arrived at the
You
very
probably
door.
know it, but
I don't actually.
State capital of.
Was it Austin?
Texas, it is Austin.
Yeah, I see it.
But you'd say Dallas or Houston, wouldn't you? You'd imagine.
No, I'd say Austin.
Yeah.
So hang on, state capital.
What's the capital of New York?
New York State.
Yes.
Ooh, is it
New
Buffalo?
York?
It's Albany.
Albany. See,
Okay.
Albany. See,
And California?
Sacramento.
Yes, it is.
North Carolina.
I feel like
North, I don't know anything.
I feel like I'm.
North
Is it
Carolina.
Charlotte?
Nope.
Oh,
It's Raleigh.
that's Raleigh. Sorry. Yes. Charlotte's a state, is it? I can't
No,
remember.
Charlotte's in North Carolina.
It is North Carolina. Yeah. What did you say?
Raleigh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Raleigh.
Oh,
is the
Gary.
state
He's
capital.
here. He's here. The pub quiz man is here. He can talk to your heart's content about pub quizzes.
He'll be in 4 overs' time.
He will.
Another good one you get over here quite often is, what does DC stand for in Washington?
District of Columbia.
Yeah.
Stage is set for Rishabh Pant, says Dadaso Borj. If he fails today, it will be a big question mark on the selection over Dinesh Karthik. Pranav Dubey has joined us, and also Dilip Agrawal Kier says hi.
Hello. We see the wickets of Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli. Shikhar for 15, Kohli for 20.
John Perry has done a pub quiz book in English, and he sent the Amazon link.
Why don't you just translate it into Japanese?
Um,
Or Google Translate.
Do you have to do your own? I mean, you have to translate it yourself in Japanese, or could you not just get?
all sorts of topics. There's one tip, one hand. State capitals, presidents, geography, lots of sports questions, but sadly never cricket.
I can do 20th century presidents.
Rennie
I'm
Keat-
struggling in 19th.
Rennie Keita says we're quite trivial here in Finland.
We're quite trivial here in Sydenham, to be
Mia
honest.
Katie says you should ask Jane Francis 63 about pub quizzes in the USA. She's the expert.
Is she?
Well, one tip, one hand are as well.
Okay.
Well, it seems a podcast in America, I guess, by the look of it. Is that right? Do you know them?
Who, what, one tip, one hand?
Edges and Sledges cricket podcast.
Yeah, there's any number of podcasts. We've got the Armchair Cricket podcast as well. I have to say, I don't have a lot of time to listen to podcasts.
Ravi Nair says, don't forget every time there's been a transatlantic university challenge, the team from the States has thrashed us.
Have they?
Yeah, but that's not pub quiz, though. is it?
That's not pub quiz,
No,
no.
it's a very highbrow pub.
New
Shane
bowler.
bowling. I'll give him his jingle after his first ball.
He's in, bowling to the left-hander, and he bowls an absolute pile of filth, which quite rightly is slung over mid-wicket for 6.
Wow.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air.
Hadn't thought of it.
Legs moving side to side. Smack it in the air.
And the bowler is...
Smaximum.
No, it isn't. It's this chap.
The enemies of the mighty fear many things. Yet there is one thing they fear of all others. They fear Adam Zampa.
Quite rightly. I don't think they fear him after that ball. Tosses this one up. It turns into the left-hander. He flicks it away, and he's running very fast. He wants to come back for a second, but two men converge. And then it hits the stumps as the ball comes in. It runs away or rebounds away, but this time there won't be overthrows.
As often, one of our questions ignites Twitter. Mark Zips tweeted in, of course, from America. He says they call them Trivia Night. A friend of mine's team recently won a national title. You can even play trivia electronically across the entire country.
Well, they have.
That sounds good.
They have spelling national
Spelling
competitions.
bees. What is it? Why is it called a spelling bee?
Why is it B? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no B in spelling.
That's what I thought.
Ranjit Kumar Mohapatra says, how about Vijay Shankar at number 4 instead of Pant? He's more technically sound than Pant.
Well, I mean, I guess those are interchangeable if you play both of them. And I mean, to me, what I've seen of Pant is has been impressive, generally
Exciting,
speaking.
yeah. But he either goes big or gets out pretty quickly, I think. His average is not that high.
He's not played that many games, to be honest. I think he's only played 5 games. This is stroked through mid-off out to Cummins on the long-off boundary. They take 1.
Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcasts say they host the weekly podcast from 3 different countries.
Oh, right.
Ashwin, I'm in the US, DJ is in London, and Varan is in Singapore. Scheduling is a nightmare.
I bet, yeah. Well, I mean, trying to get people to Sydenham for 8 o'clock in the morning is pretty difficult.
We'll have to check that out.
Zampa bowls again, once more turning into the left-hander, and he whips it away out to deep square leg for another single. He moves to 16 from 13. Rohit Sharma still there, important to the cause. On the back of a 95 in Mohali.
Yol tells us David Miller keeping wicket now for South Africa. Backup keeper for World Cup.
Tossed up, drilled back by Sharma, which Zampa half stops. He now looks at his finger and blows on it. That must have been quite painful. On the single. That was a googly, I think.
Our friends at Gorilla South Africa pointed out that there is no reserve keeper in the South African squad for the World Cup. So,
Have they named the squad? They haven't named the squad.
Yeah.
No, they can't have done.
Why not?
Because they're not due yet.
Well, you can name it early. You just
I
can't name
suppose
it
you
late.
could. Okay, if they have, then okay. Stroke through. Oh no, up to mid-off. Are they thinking about a single? Probably shouldn't, because Finch has the ball in his hand and is aiming at the non-striker's end. It's the end of the over, 90 for 2.
Yeah, after a 6 first ball, he pulled that over back a bit, because there's nothing worse as a spinner for going for your first ball for 6, because you're looking at a potential biggie.
There's nowhere to hide, is there?
no.
Once you've pulled one down, half tracker.
Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast said, give us a listen. We often plug your great work.
Oh, do you really? That's very kind of
including
you.
in the latest episode, I believe.
Oh,
well,
excellent.
if the London-based man DJ fancies coming in,
Do a bit of commentary, yeah,
If
absolutely. Come and have a go.
DJ, if
Send us an email, gorillacricket@gmail.com.
yeah, if you fancy, you can do this.
We are always on the lookout for talent.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
you
because we
Because we haven't found any yet. Lion continues. It's the spin twins in operation, and Rohit flicks it to square leg. There's no run.
Pants set off like a lunatic from the non-striker's end, and then
He's quite excitable, isn't he?
had to turn around and scamper back like a terrier.
He's still quite young.
pants on fire.
Indeed. When he gets going, that's certainly true.
He's got ants in his pants.
He's got a man at short third man back on the cover boundary. Extra cover mid-off right on the edge of the circle. Can't see the leg side field at the moment. It's very irritating. Once the field spreads, it's very difficult to sum it up in a few short words, because you can't see most of it. Lion in, bowls. This one turns back into him, and he defends with the spin into the onside.
I think, given the option, Lion would be preferred to bowl to the left-handed Pant and Zampa to the right-handed Rohit.
Probably,
because the
although
ball is turning, and it will turn away from those two
Although he
players.
does operate normally quite well to the right-hander from round the wicket. They set off for a run here. It was slightly risky. There was some hesitation there before they finally went.
There was no hesitation from Pant.
No.
He was charging. He skidded through Pant.
Yeah, as for Rohit, he was taken a
little
bit by
more-
surprise.
A little bit more ponderous.
Now he's coming round the wicket to the to the left-handed Pant. 91 for 2, halfway through the 18th over. India are chasing 272 to win, is it? Onto the back foot goes Punt. He wants a single as he dabs this down to backward point, but
That just shaped away from the left hand.
no, he's bowling nicely at the moment, Lion. very nicely. I mean, I think they've got to take him into the World Cup. I know he hasn't played that many ODIs in general, but I think he's a much more canny bowler.
He's a good bowler.
He's a damn good bowler, yes. You don't get 340 wickets in Test cricket without being quite decent,
Well, I don't.
especially as a spinner.
Yeah.
Well, our man from Eddie Slacey's cricket podcast is going to let DJ know. He says he's sure he'd be interested, especially for the IPL.
Well, oh, great, because we're looking for people for the IPL.
Yeah.
Yes, do get him to get in touch at gorillacricket@gmail.com.
There you go.
Around the wicket again. Oh, he's turned back. He's getting caught, I think, at slip. I'm not sure whether that came off the keeper first or whether it went
I'm
straight
claiming that as a
into
wicket.
his hands. But it's a delightful delivery from Lyon. Just held it back a little bit, got it to turn. He got it too high up on the bat, couldn't control it, and he has gone.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
It's just what I thought was going to happen from Lyon to the left-hander. Turning it away from him, a bit of grip, a bit of turn, and comfortable as you like.
You are the Oracle. You're more
I
of an
am the
oracle
Oracle.
than Beijing Ducks Cricket Club.
Yeah.
So punt goes for 16 off 16.
I'm more of an oracle than ITV's teletext service. You remember that?
I do. I
It's
worked
called
for it for a long
Oracle.
time.
Did you? Did you do the cricket school?
No, I was on news.
I once watched a Grand Prix on
on
teletext.
Yeah, you could do that now. You could certainly watch cricket, especially when they updated them every ball.
2 hours.
It was like the early internet.
And we had it on the TV, but we just got hooked.
Well, that's a bit strange.
We were.
Stoned.
It was in Islington. Yes.
Well,
it's a big wicket actually for Australia.
it is indeed, and it brings to the crease this man,
Yes, it does.
Him.
that one,
bloke.
that bloke, the one that if you press this button will play you a jingle.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not
I'll
there.
do
then.
that in a minute.
You can't find him. Okay, it's Vijay Shankar. I'll tell you that.
Where is he?
We were
Oh,
looking.
here he is.
Hey girls, be boys, superstar
VJs.
Here we go. Hey girl.
Yeah, that's the Chemical Brothers. We had a discussion about the Chemical Brothers the other day, whether they were two brothers called Chemical, but they're not. And
They're
apparently,
not.
they're local. One of them was a Dulwich College boy, so
Is that right?
it's probably Manny, isn't it?
Probably is.
Yeah.
Manny and Norcroft.
Yeah.
Here comes Lyon again. Bowls to Shankar, who leans forward and with the turn steers it to mid-wicket. And that is the end of a successful over from Nathan Lyon. Well done, that man. 91 for 3.
Can you imagine them two at the decks at a rave?
No.
Norcross would just monopolise the mic for talking into
Yeah.
it rather
Yeah,
than playing.
you wouldn't get much music
Play a
played.
record, you twat.
Dadasso Borge says DK is more technically sound than anyone else, like Pant, Vijay Rayadu, but unfortunately he hasn't got as many chances at the top of the order to showcase his talent. Mahesh Kumar has joined us, so has Amar Dayani, and I'm saying it's going to happen. Shankar at 4 is more suitable. And now what, says Dadasso Borge?
We're waving at
3
you.
down with Kohli gone. Real test of Indian middle order or lower middle order. Kedar and Shankar, it's your game. Show your mettle.
Well, Rohit's still there. I think you have to make that point. He's on 38
Yes.
from 54. He can
He's
be
no
facing-
stranger to big innings in 50 over
No,
cricket.
He's played 1 or 2. 1 or 2.
Or 3. Or
3
4.
double hundreds he's got in ODI cricket.
As Gary said
Amazing
earlier,
record.
is Sampa really 26?
I know, because he said he thought he was 14.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the hairstyle that Zampa has, and the one he's got at the moment does make him look about 14, if even that. He's in. He really tosses that one up nicely. It's chipped into the offside a little bit there by Rohit, but he gets it past the man at extra for a single.
He's not very tall as well, which is actually helpful for a leg spinner, because you can throw the ball up. You get a nice start to the loop.
Well, one of the best leg spinners I played against in club cricket actually was very tall.
Really?
Yeah, played for Honour Oak, and he was he was very tall, and he got a lot of bounce.
Yeah, it's a different thing. I mean, of course, I remember like Suleiman Ben as
Suleiman,
a very tall spinner. It's a very different art.
indeed.
But I like it when the spinners are short.
Well, good. You are being quite short yourself, aren't you, really?
Average.
Yeah, average, he says. Onto the front foot comes Shankar, defends back to the bowler. 92 for 3, so we've got a fascinating game going on at the moment with some big names back in the pavilion. And now Aaron Finch is talking to Alex Carey about some field positioning or field change that he feels inclined to make. I'm not sure whether he has moved anyone or they're just mulling it over for the time being.
John Perry has sent in an anecdote about a trivia quiz he hosted,
Oh, excellent.
which I'll read out after the next ball.
He's in. Oh, he's pulled that one down, I'm afraid, and it's been pulled by the batsman himself. He probably should have made more of it, to be honest. He hit it straight to the man at deep mid-wicket, so it's only a single. It possibly could have gone for 6.
Yeah, it's got away with that one.
He
It's
once
an absolute long hop.
ran a pub quiz for the local foreign crowd with 40 people in a 44-seater restaurant. I presumed we'd booked the place out. The owner had other ideas and sat a Japanese family at the remaining table. I'll break off.
Oh, now again. Rohit leaning forward and just chipping that up slightly in the air. For a moment I thought he was going to gift a return catch to Zampa, but it dropped short of him. I think that might have been the googly.
As I yelled questions to a group of increasingly inebriated and garrulous Westerners, you could see in their eyes the regret at their choice of dining location.
Shorter and quicker from Zampa has Rohit on the back foot defending to him.
Growing with each passing second. Needless to say, they didn't stay around for dessert.
Well, if you get Japanese family a trivia question, if they get a question wrong, they're probably so mortified. They might
Again, pulling that one down a little bit. It's turned through square leg by Rohit, who takes another single. He goes to 39, 40 in fact, 40 from 58. It's the end of the 19th over. India chasing 272 to win a 94 for 3.
One tip, one hand says Kohli, Dhawan and Punt are the 3 local boys from Delhi, all back in the pavilion.
Yeah. That's right. Yes.
Strangely, all have pretty terrible records at their home ground.
Well, in fact, I don't know what Shikhar Dhawan when else he's played at Delhi, and in fact, when he'd be playing for Delhi this IPL, he'd be playing for the newly named Delhi Capitals after moving from Sunrisers. When I looked up his record in one-day internationals at Delhi, he'd only played one ODI of his many there, and had scored a single against the West Indies.
They have so many grounds.
Yes,
now, India,
exactly.
That you don't. The statistics for people on particular grounds aren't worth anything.
Well, I was going down his list. Onto the back foot goes Rohit, defends Nathan Lyon to short extra cover. I was going through the list of his ODI appearances, and I thought there has to be more than one game at Delhi, surely.
Did you say this is the second oldest ground?
Apparently so.
Ground in India.
In India, yeah. He's in again. He comes down the wicket, and he shanks that horribly. Rohit didn't get to the pitch of it, but gets away with it as it ends up down at long on after a couple of bounces from it's Jai Richardson down there.
That was almost scunted.
It really was. It was a horrible shot.
Arul Jagadish thinks India will win this game. Saeed Anwar Afghan says Rohit wicket is the key wicket for Australia to win the match and the series. Rajiv Jain has joined us. Gurpreet Sandhu also, and Arul Jagadish thinks India will win. So does Fazal Khan.
Bowls to Shankar, who's onto the back foot and forces through mid-off.
Sorry, I got that wrong. Fazal Khan wants Australia to win. Raman Nujam says the Rohit wicket matters. We miss you, DK. And Arul Jagadish says Rohit 100 in this match.
Well, we shall see. He's looking for a 23rd one-day international 100. It's Jason and Gary. You're going to hear Gary for the first time in a few minutes. Again, Rohit leans forward and clips into the onside. I'm coming out, and so Fred's coming out. We're going to leave Nestle Boy in here. Gary to ball by ball, and Jason to...
Jason on the jingles.
Plays a tune at the end of this over. In comes Nathan, bowls. Onto the back foot goes Rohit, forces to deep cover. They take a single. 97 for 3. It's still under a run of ball. 176 required off 181 with 7 wickets in hand. They know what they've got to do. They can pace themselves to a certain extent. Rohit on 42, Shankar on 2. It's Shankar facing now as Lyon comes in to complete the 20th over. He's in. He plays a delicate little late cut. May have actually played that into the boot of Alex Carey, and it went fine. Was stopped by the man on the 45, and that is the end of the over. 98 for 3. Next voice you'll hear will be that of Gary.
It's been too many overs on a little couch, just like an old biddy. They need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa suffer. Change gon' come. Oh yes.
Zampa in, and this ball is punched to extra cover, or should I say slightly wideish long off, and Shankar, as he does, is busy. He has 4 off 6. India just 1 short of posting the 100. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to come into a match that looks pretty much in the balance to me.
Yeah, I'd say Australia are quite happy at the moment.
Zampa's in again, and this is a leg break, and it just takes the outside portion of the bat, goes into the covers, and they scamper a single. But Rohit obviously is the key. He has 43 from 63, and that's how he constructs his centuries, doesn't he? He goes sort of 40 off 60 and then aims to be 100 off 100, and has done so, I think, 22 times already. So he knows his way to construct a century. And Shankar, I like Shankar very much from what I've seen of him. This early in his ODI career, gets another single by punching Zampa to long on. India posted the 100, 101 for 3.
We didn't think at one stage that Australia were going to get 250. It didn't look like it.
Yes, I'll explain why I was away in a moment, but Zampa is back in again, and another leg break just blocked back to him by Rohit, who is approaching a landmark. He's approaching 8,000 runs in his 206 matches. Needs 3 more for that. As it is, he has Zampa to deal with, and he punches this hard, but the man will be sweeping there on the cover boundary. Comes in, but I think they'll take 2. Yes, they scamper 2. India 103 for 3 here, looking to get through some risk-free singles here between the two of them.
7,999.
We've got some comments. Errol Jagdeep says India win. Fazal Khan says Australia win. Ramanujan is missing Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah. You know who's actually winning?
Cricket.
Cricket is winning. We're deep in the 5th ODI, and the series is as yet undecided. That was a wrong one from Zampa. It wasn't picked by Rohit. Come off the inside edge, went into the leg side. There is no run. Sorry to be away. I was at the National Theatre, darling, all morning.
Very nice.
And we got lost backstage at the National Theatre, and I said, "Hello, Cleveland."
It is a concrete jungle after all.
It is. And nobody got the joke of "Hello, Cleveland," which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. But it looked an unusual innings from Australia. You know, 2 men make 150 runs between them, and they only post 272. Is it 273?
The pitch wasn't
It's
conducive
not all
to
that.
batting.
Yeah,
it's not all that. I mean, they have scored above the average for the ground, which is something like 233 over 25.
You just get the feeling that with 2 men posting decent scores, I mean, Khwaja obviously is in scintillating form with his 100, and Hanscom getting this 50. Somebody else would have been able to chip in, or the others chip in between them, as Nathan Lyon is turned off the pads by Shankar, but can't beat the man at square leg. No run. The equation for India is 170 off 174. So they would be pleasing Richie Beno with that equation. He wouldn't be happy if it was 175 of 174, but with 170 of 174, he'd be happy. And Shankar fails to time this ball. So he sort of he pulled out of the shot, really. It was aerial for a while, bounced a couple of times on its way to Jai Richardson, and they at mid-on, and they take a single.
I think you'd say that actually for that ball, Lyon bowled it into the deck a bit. It just stopped, and he went through the shot just a little bit early.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Just stopped a little bit.
Fortunately, there's no one at mid-on to be anywhere near to catch here. It just rolled out gently to long on.
So already with what I've seen, it's supporting your point here, Nestle Boy, that the pitch here at Delhi is not conducive to run scoring. But Rohit Sharma uses his wrists there to get that ball to the Jonty Rhodes position, backward of point, and post 8,000 runs in his ODI career. He never quite made it as a test batsman. He was a bit he's a bit in that Michael Bevan category of being very much an ODI specialist.
Talking of the ground, Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, I'll break off.
As Nathan Lyon is in again, India on 105 for 3. This takes a leading edge and skews away into the offside, and they scamper a fortunate single, 106 for 3.
Delhi doesn't get too many games. The perfect storm in the past 2 and 3 decades of appalling pitches, poor crowds, pollution, board corruption, etc.
Yes.
So the pitch condition has been an issue for 20, 30 years apparently.
Lions in again, and this is a lovely top spinning off break, but Rohit just again uses those wrists to get it into a gap, milking the spin of Lyon, who's bowled very well, I think, throughout this series. Must be bowling himself into contention for the World Cup, having been out of the ODI side for some time.
And the old says, missed some of the odds innings. Why didn't Jadav bowl more than 1 over? I don't know.
A bit shorter this from Lyon, a bit quicker, and Shankar can do nothing with it. So 4 singles bracketed by dot balls at either end of the over from Lyon, and we'll come to your tweets.
Would have to ask Mr. Kohli, but I don't have his number. I'm up to date on tweets, Gary.
I mean, the only thing
Fantastic.
I can think of was as to why Jadav didn't bowl very much is because they took 1 over and decided that the pitch didn't suit his style of bowling.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he bowled quite conventional style, didn't he?
His arm was very upright for a change. There's only one really sort of slingy baseball Malinga type ball.
Well, I noticed that both 11s had 7 bowling options available to the captain, and I think this is getting to be a bit of a flaw in the England ODI setup because they play Bairstow and Butler, and Morgan doesn't bowl.
The other interesting thing was that Maxwell didn't really bowl.
No, he doesn't need to, does he, when you've got these options both sides? As Zampa is very full, and it's attempted drive by Rohit, and the man at short extra field, so he remains on 47.
Sorry, I should qualify that. Maxwell hasn't bowled yet.
He did bowl quite a bit in the one of the previous ODIs. Down a track comes Rohit, makes that into a full toss from Zampa, but he's happy just to punch it to the man at long on and walk an obvious single. He goes to 48. India 108 for 3. The equation now 165 off 166. Richie still happy.
And more people have joined us on Circular Cricket. Sachin Saram, Raj Makwana, who says India will lose this match if Rohit gets out. Abhinay Naik, Nadeem Sharif and Hardik Shah. As
Shankar just beats the sprawling man, who I think is the captain there, Aaron Finch, at short extra, and they walk another easy single. It is the captain, Aaron Finch, at short mid-wicket.
The man here, in fact.
Shankar goes by VJ on the back of his shirt, and I know VJ is a fairly common name in India, but I rather like calling him Shankar because it reminds me of Ravi Shankar, both the musician but also the restaurant in Drummond Street. As this ball is turned off the pads by Rohit, and he collects a single and moves to 49.
Wasn't there a filmmaker, an Indian filmmaker called Ravi Shankar as well?
There might be.
Isn't his
I thought you, as a reviewer of many films and performances, might know that.
No, I don't on that one, Jason, but thank you.
Isn't his daughter the singer?
Nora Jones.
Nora
There's
Jones,
also
yeah.
Anushka Shankar, I think, as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Twitter.
This is a bit shorter, a bit quicker from Zampa. Goes down the leg side, and I think they've scampered a leg by from that one. They are indeed scampering a leg by. It's Nelson, 111 for 3. Here we are, 5 balls into the 23rd over. Yes, Ravi Shankar do an excellent buffet. You pay about £6.50 or something. All you can eat. It's just fab. All vegetarian, of course. Zampa's in again, and this fails to get 50, does Rohit, because he can't time it again. And for a man who's been in 72 balls, to fail to time the ball like this shows what a capricious pitch it is. It's the end of the over.
That must be the perfect performance noshing.
Well, you tend to if you eat too much at the buffet, and let's face it, I always eat too much at the buffet, you do tend to get a little postprandial, a bit sleepy in the afternoon. So I try to avoid it, although I have been in before a football match sometimes. It's quite good if you go in before the match, get well and truly fed up. So Nestle Boy, it looks like you're getting some tweets coming through.
No, Nakul Pandey's tweeted in. Up until a few days ago, I couldn't see a way for Vijay Shankar into the World Cup squad unless Hardik Pandya was injured. Now with his ability to score quickly from the outset, I can. And for all that I like Radio a lot, he seems the man to miss out.
Well, here you've got your wish, Jason, so you might be able to jingle him up, because we have a new bowler, and he started with a dot ball, big round arm slingy old action. We're about to jingle him. He's in again, and this ball is turned off the pads by Vijay Shankar, who since Knuckle and I have said his scores quickly, has gone a bit into his shell. He now has 8 from 15.
Quite correct,
And here's the
Armchair
bowler.
Cricket Podcast. Ravi Shankar was a sitar player of some renown. He played at Woodstock, did you know that?
Ooh. Maxwell's in again, and this ball is just block driven, but that will be enough for the single that takes Rohit to his 50. He has 200 innings for his 8,003 runs at an average of 47.6.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done.
Goes back to the next ball to Shankar and plays this unusual sort of slight curtain rail shot where he stands up straight, brings the bat across the line of the ball, and gets a single. Oh, that was Rohit getting the single. I do apologise. He now has his 50. Yeah, well done with the jingle there. The bowler. Have we
Even before you thought about it.
yes. Have we got a jingle for the bowler?
We do. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'd buy you a Glenn Maxwell. Then we are no longer friends.
Very full is Maxwell, and just punched to the man at mid-on. Goes through for the single. I was amazed to find that Maxwell is now 30. Is that right? 30 years old.
I think so. The ages sort of, they're quite odd when we looked at our homework.
Yeah, Zampa was 26, and I thought he was 14.
Because the ages, so you think of people age as is how long they've been since they made their debuts.
Yeah. Maxwell's in again, and that slingy, quicker ball is just turned round the corner into the leg side, and there is no run. So India are quite happy picking up 4 and 5 and over here, and Australia seem quite happy allowing 4 or 5 and over. Of course, that's not quite up with the rate, but India will think 1 big over will be enough. But it's all about wickets now, isn't it? It's all about wickets.
Wickets. Sally R56 says, I just checked Facebook and saw Fred Titmus is still there. Been very quiet. And Josh Robinson says, the Shankar I'm most often reminded of is Adrian,
Yes, of course.
Yes.
with whom I went to college.
Adrian Shankar.
Who's Adrian Shankar?
No, that's a story
That
to
is a
behold.
story.
It's
Okay.
impossible to summarise, particularly with two spinners on. But just put Adrian Shankar into Google, and you'll find some extraordinary stuff. As Zampa is in, he goes back, does Shankar, and punches it to the man at short mid wicket. But there is no run. 159 required off 155. So Richie is no longer happy.
Can you give
If
me a
you-
précis on that, Adrian
Is
Shankar?
it cricketing Walter Mitty?
Right.
He was not who he claimed to be. This is very full, and it's punched, but a good sprawl by, I think, Maxwell there at
Great
on
fielding.
the edge. It is Maxwell on the edge of the circle at extra, and what he did so well there, Maxwell, stopping the ball wasn't so fantastic, but he got up so quickly, threw the ball in, and it just pinned the batsmen in their creases, so they did not take the single. As Shankar has a tremendous smash at this. You did feel the pressure was building. Richie was turning in his grave, but he won't be anymore, because that's gone all the way back over the bowler's head for one of these. Lovely strike there, and Shankar does play that ball back over the bowler's head so well. Just a big, lazy old swing of the bat, like Ernie Els on the first tee at Augusta National. It must be coming up soon.
Where's the players this week?
There's the players this week.
The unofficial first
120
major.
for 3, and this one is a short ball. He goes back in his crease to
hasn't got
Shankar.
hold
He
of
hits
that.
it high in the air, but the man come in and he catches it. Yes, he does. India are 4 down. Well, he's given it away there, Shankar. He hit a 6 the previous delivery. It was Usman Khwaja who was running in. He made a meal of the catch. The ball was in the air for an absolute eternity, but that's not good cricket from Shankar. Hit the 6 and then just help yourself to an easy single. Instead, he went back and he just hit the ball high, really, rather than long. And Khwaja came in and took it with both hands, sprawling as he took that, and I think Zampa will think he's outfoxed the Indian tyro there. So Shankar is out for 16.
No! No! You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at? No!
Knuckle Pandy's got a film review for you, Gary.
Oh yes.
He saw Captain Marvel last night.
Oh yes.
Bar the first 5 to 10 minutes were a bit exposition heavy. I enjoyed it. Visually gorgeous. Brie Larson is captivating, and the tone is fun without being trivial.
Well, I promised myself not to go and see any of those superhero movies because they always disappoint after the first 2 Spider-Man ones anyway.
Oh, they're all pretty much the same.
Maybe I should. I saw Green Book yesterday. Not great. Seen it all before. It's a bit of how sort of white privilege looks at ethnic or racial tensions in America. But it's very well done and it's engaging, but,
Isn't the director got in trouble for... some sexual...
He had a record. But we have a new batsman. Never mind.
We do. And it's this guy.
Thank God his mom and dad, they made an all-rounder. Yeah, he can bowl and bat and he can hit some fours.
That's Kedar Jadhav coming in the kind of MS Dhoni role, really, at 120 for 4 with 153 still required. This ball is a full toss and it skews off the outside edge, and they'll scamper 2. Have to be quick, and he takes the bails off, does Alex Carey. It's a half-hearted appeal. They're going to go upstairs, but surely he's in. Is it Rohit, I think, coming back? It's quite hard to tell these two apart at the moment.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says Shankar did not need to do that. Had a good chance to show he can perform under pressure.
Yeah, and you see that the bat is in. The hand is in. His head is in before the bails are taken off. So he's well and truly in. But we do get the advert on the board. Sometimes I think that they go to so they can get the adverts. But it was Rohit Sharma, so he adds 2 to his score. And Richie is at ease again, 151 off 151 required. Zampa tosses this one up. It takes the outside edge, and was that half a chance there? I think there was.
He edged it, and it was so low that it hit the keeper's pads rather than the gloves.
It's as much luck as anything else when those catches are taken. But the end of a successful over from Adam Zampa. I'll just finish off that point about Green Book. It's you can kind of see why it wins the Oscar, but when there are films like Blind Spotting and Monsters and Men who are really looking at some of the issues in America between the African American and other ethnic groups, it was so terribly old-fashioned.
Are you saying there's a conspiracy theory going on with the umpires going upstairs so the adverts get shown?
I wouldn't go as far as to be as
are they on a
explicit
bonus?
as that.
Are they on a bonus?
I sometimes think that it suits everyone for that big board to have come up on the screen every now and again. So Kedar Jadhav, who's now 33, again coming late in his career to this Indian one-day side, but he's already racked up 59 at ODI.
Good average though, 43.4.
Yeah, and it's Maxwell who's in again, and this ball has just eased into the leg side by the diminutive Jadhav. Maxwell, he's a funny old bowler, isn't he, Maxwell? He gives you a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of the other, never actually turns any.
But he seems to bowl it on a good length.
He does.
It's hard and tight to get away. And that one's just dogged into the offside, and they've just scampered a single.
Yeah, I mean, what he is, Maxwell, he's a slow bowler rather than a spinner, really. That was a biggish edge, and it hit the gloves, actually. The last ball of Zampa's over. It hit the gloves of Carey, but it's not... If they get taken, they get taken, but if they don't get taken, you can't blame the keeper, really. As that's punched down the ground to long on, and they walk a single.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says, with no Dhoni in the 11, the Indian lower middle order will be tested. In a way, the Indian team management will be happy with these turn of events.
Yeah. I mean,
they want to win the game, though.
Yeah, Maxwell goes in, and Jadhav can do nothing with that. He's got no pace to work with. Goes into the offside. There is no run. Because I mean, let's be absolutely clear here. If Australia win an ODI 5-match ODI series in India, that is a tremendous result for the Australians.
Yep.
As it goes back, and the ball is uppish for a while. I suspect it only took pad, but Aaron Finch has got his hands on his head, so maybe there was a little bit of an inside edge onto that. There was no short leg, obviously, even though the man is on one. We're looking at it again here. It's a top spinner, really, from Maxwell, but no,
it's right off the pad.
Just off the
hip guard.
Off the hip guard, yeah.
It's the top flap of the pad, and then off the hip guard.
Hanscom trying to get to the ball there. He goes back, rocks back, and hits this hard, does Jadhav, with a flat bat through extra cover. So Maxwell can't finish his over because he's been hit for one of these.
I keep all we come to for.
Yeah, he's bowling well though, Maxwell. He's not giving the batsman any room, and that's how the Australians have played India in this series. It's an old cricketing tactic when you bowl, but it's amazing how many sides don't do it. If you just bowl a tight line on 4th and 5th stump, and the batsman is not Steve Smithing it into the leg side all the time, then it can dry up. It certainly dries up the boundaries, or it makes the batsman make decisions about the boundaries. That's what I've been a bit surprised with India's batting in this series. We've seen very little stepping away, as we saw there, to make room. This ball is flashed in the air and just drops in front of Maxwell at short extra. That was from Rohit. Or was that a chance? The Australians don't look too happy. I don't think it was. Rohit stays on 53. We're seeing a replay now, and maybe it was a bump ball, but no, it went into Maxwell's hands and he dropped it. Oh, that was a shot. That was a relatively straightforward chance there. Zampa's appealing from a wrong un that he thinks took pad before bat, but the umpire says no. India 129 for 4. Well, that was a bit of a dolly, really.
I was going to say, we've seen some dollies in this series dropped. I mean, the last game there was a dolly by Dhawan that was dropped that cost them the match, probably.
Yes, the ball hit the middle of the bat there, so Zampa's disappointment of not being given LBW is perhaps not really understandable, and Maxwell's given himself the double teapot, and he's cursing his, not so much his luck, but his inability to catch a ball. It was drilled quite low, but
he was well set for it.
Yeah, I mean,
he had to do absolutely nothing apart from put his hands on it and close them.
He's catching it 99 times out of 100, really. As the next ball is just nudged into the leg side, to the vacant square leg area, and they take one. Yeah, what I was going to say, I mean, this is something perhaps for the World Cup for India. There's been very few Indian batsmen who've been prepared to give themselves room to that 4th and 5th stump line, back away and be able to punch it through the offside. Nor have they really gone across their stumps and tried to find the ball, a ball that can get into the leg side. They've come down the wicket, as Rohit did there, but he only got an inside edge, and there is no run. They've come down the wicket, but they haven't really used the width of the crease as much as perhaps they might have done, and I think that has tied them up when the bowling has been disciplined on a 4th and 5th stump line.
Well, is the issue that they haven't needed to until this point?
Maybe, as again Rohit stays in his crease and is happy just to allow the ball to hit his bat, go off to point, and they walk an easy single. 131 for 4. The Indians need 142 now off 139. The camera picks out Australia's 2 gun bowlers, Patrick Cummins and Nathan Lyon. They'll be back soon, I'm sure.
I mean, the point I was making was they haven't needed to innovate, and they haven't needed to take the risks in the same way in their games to date.
Maybe not, as the next ball is just eased into the offside and by Jadhav, and there is no runs. The end of the 27th over. India 131 for 4. Tweets.
Ravi Nair is with us. Hello, Ravi. He says, meanwhile, South Africa are suffering from irritating last wicket stand as Rathia contributes naught. Rajitha, contributes naught to a stand of 54, while Udana hammers hither and yon 74. Sri Lanka now 185 for 9. So they've made a bit
there was
of
a fantastic
stand.
Talking about the Test matches, there's a fantastic stand to win the match with Kusal Pereira and I forget the name of the other batsman who scored 5 in a
Fernando, I think.
80. Yeah.
This ball is jabbed down by Rohit, an inside edge, and Maxwell fields off his own bowling.
Yes, well remembered.
I don't think India are in trouble yet. That kept a little low. And down the track comes Rohit, but he can only get the ball again back to Maxwell. They're not in trouble yet, but I don't think they want to let 2 or 3 more overs go by without a boundary, because the Australians, you can see that their fielders are in from the edge of the circle here. They're trying to bottle up, trying to cattle the Indian batsman as much as possible, and Maxwell's doing his job well. And of course, immediately I say that bowls one on the leg stump, but Rohit was trying to premeditate a sweep there. It got too full for the sweep, and he could do nothing with it.
Going back to that South Africa-Sri Lanka game, that Sri Lanka were 91 for 7, and now at 189.
Again, Maxwell's full, and Rohit declines to use his feet and just drops the ball into the leg side. So there's been 4 dot balls in this over here. Down the track comes Rohit, almost yorks himself, and Maxwell collects the ball again, and Rohit has a quiet smile to himself as Virat looks on from above.
Kohli can.
Yeah, Kohli can. So will Maxwell get his maiden? He doesn't, because it's a single taken down to long leg, but that's a pretty good over from Maxwell, and I think India is just a bit passive here. They're a bit passive. I think they need to do more in the crease.
Well, this is almost like watching the Australian innings, where we just weren't seeing any runs, were we? You know, it just seems like they were stuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's the issue is they're playing correct shots, they're playing vertical bat shots, and the line is so good from the bowling, they're really not being able to do it other than knock it straight to a fielder, because the shots are all classical.
Yeah, we see no reversing. I mean, India don't really favour the reverse, and I'm not a fan of the reverse, but I think you have to get it out now and again just to move that field around. Most of all with spinners, you can't just let them bowl, and that's what India are doing at the moment. And there's another example. Zampa's on leg stump, and Rohit could have tried to deflect that for a single, but ended up just playing it straight back to the bowler.
Rohit in particular is in a big slump at the moment. He's just had the 3 overs where he's just patted the ball back almost.
Yeah, 56 off 88, and he comes down the track and he's stumped. Well, you could see that coming. You could absolutely see it coming. He came down the track, the ball went between bat and pad, and Carey was quick to take off the bails. It was a good wrong'em from Zampa. The bat seemed to slip out of Rohit's hands as he, in disgust at being well and truly stitched up like a kipper, as you said, Jason, by the bowling over the last 3 or 4 overs. It came out of his hand. He was trying to hit a 6 to get himself out of trouble. In fact, he lost the bat as he was trying to hit the 6. So it was a disastrous dismissal for Rohit. Well done, Australia, though. Good captaincy from Finch. Good bowling. But I'm afraid India they're authors of their own downfall at the moment. Rohit out 56 off 89. And I'm sure some listeners may be saying, but Gary, you were saying they needed to do something. Yes, I was saying they needed to do something, but what we've seen from Rohit is tap, 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 and then an attempt to hit the ball out of the state as much as out of the
he definitely
stadium.
tried to. He lost all his shape and tried to overhit that. Yeah. I think what we were seeing there is he didn't have the middle gear. He had the solid defence. He didn't really have much to work the ball around in the same way that Root and maybe Williamson do.
Well, the Aussies were doing the reverse sweep quite a lot, weren't they? They were moving, trying to
and so when he was bottled up, he had no option to go nuclear.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely right, Jason. Although we'll try not to refer too much of going nuclear when the match is in Delhi. So India 132 for 5. The equation now has Richie spinning in his grave because it's 141 off 130, and it brings Ravindra Jadeja to the crease, and we'll jingle him up. To have had something of a haircut and a beard trim. It's looking very much the rural bank manager these days, Ravindra Jadeja, rather than the sword-wielding prince. And he meets his first ball with the full face of the bat.
I don't understand his jingle.
I'm not sure.
It's Bruce Springsteen. I think he's
Outlaw Pete. Yeah, but what's that got to do with Ravindra Jadeja?
Again, it was I think because he was sort of a maverick outlaw.
Very full and almost yorked himself, did Jadeja, but was fielded well off his own bowling by Adam Zampa. Yeah, Rohit, the bat did go miles in the air as it slipped out of his hand. I mean, that's how hard he was trying to hit it, that he couldn't even hold on to the bat. That's a brilliant wrong'em from Zampa, and Carey takes off the bails. I think they've gone up for the catch.
I thought it was a catch.
But they're going to go upstairs for the stumping. Jadeja looks a guilty man to me.
Well,
He looks a guilty man.
All options are possible.
Brilliant piece of bowling from Zampa. That really zipped off the pitch there with top spin and a wrong 'un. So we'll talk you through the review process. It's not a no ball from Zampa, who's suddenly turned into Shane Warne, hasn't he? In fact, they're just going for the stumping. Carey takes the ball. The foot is on the line. The bail is off. He's going to be given out. He's going to be given out here because the foot is on the line. That's careless from Jadeja because he literally only needs to be 2 centimetres or 1 inch further back. But he's been dragged out of the crease by going too far forward. He was beaten by a brilliant wrong 'un from Zampa. But he's definitely going to be given out here. Good work from Carey, who stays standing tall at the crease. Does take a little bit of time getting back, but he's out. He is out. But we're still waiting for Kumar Dharmasena, who is looking at the pictures, quite rightly taking his time. But this is going to be given out, surely.
And they really need a sort of super magnifier on that, because there might be just an absolute micron of boot behind the line.
A stud.
A waff of thin mint.
Jadeja, I mean, he looked guilty. I think he knew he'd overbalanced, he'd overstretched trying to get forward.
Is that showing it to be in?
No, I don't think
the
so.
The foreshortening doesn't give that the real
from there
impression.
I mean, we're looking at all the evidence, which is fair enough, but surely this is going to be given out. I mean, I've seen tighter ones than that given out. The decision is pending. We're going upstairs. And the scoreboard is about to reveal it's out, as Jimmy Goldsmith once shouted at David Mellor at Putney by-election.
Yes.
Election, actually, general election.
Yeah.
Well, there's some poor dismissals there in my time on the mic. I mean, Shankar just hit a 6 and then hit the next ball miles into the air when he could have hit it anywhere. You've got Rohit coming down the track and trying to hit the ball from Delhi to Kolkata and back coming out of his hand. And then you've got Jadeja surely thinking, the one thing I don't want to do is topple too far forwards and be stumped to the wrong 'un. And sure enough, he toppled too far forwards and was stumped to the wrong 'un. So not good from India.
Well, Ravi Nair says, ha 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 ha, Australia going to win this one, aren't they?
Yeah, very good spell there from you, Gary. You come in and made an impactful
I think so. I think so.
Jadeja was looking like a guilty man due to the possibility of being out, or the jingle denouncing him as an outlaw, says Jeff Perkins.
It could be. Well, we're into the bowlers who bat now.
It's your favourite number.
Yeah,
it's a number 8.
It's a number 8.
He got turned over for naught, a better back than we thought. He got Booby Kuma's eyes.
Yes, I don't know when how much Boovie has batted in the last sort of 6 months, or not 6 months, I should say, 6 weeks or so.
Nothing in the first 3 games,
obviously.
Yeah,
it's a tough ask asking these guys to come in and sort of knock it around when they barely get a go these days. And it's hit into the man at extra cover. So that is a double wicket maiden by Adam Zampa.
Pretty good,
and it was a good double wicket maiden. He went through his variations. He stitched up both Rohit and Ravindra Jadeja. So although I'm bagging the Indian batsmen here for some poor decisions, certainly the Australian bowling, and to be fair, the captaincy of Aaron Finch has played an important part in those poor decisions. So as ever, cricket is a balance between bat and ball. This will be 3 in a row if the Australians win. Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. They haven't done it yet though, as Jadav eases this one down to fine leg, and India go to 133 3 for 6.
Nakul confirms it was Vishwa Fernando who stood firm with Kurzul Pereira. 6 off 27 out of a last wicket stand of 78. One of the all-time last great wicket stands.
Yeah, well, it's the biggest last wicket stand to win a first-class match, never mind a test match.
Yol says, is there any team so over-reliant as India is with Kohli? They simply aren't able to chase a score if Kohli falls below 40.
West Indies with Chris Gale.
Yeah, could be. Maxwell's in again, and Boovi goes back deep in his crease, you see, and he finds a way of getting the... Oh, he didn't take... Well, there was a long single there, but I think that shows the confidence has gone, because they didn't take that single that went into the off the leg side. We see the back of the hand release there from Zampa. It was an authentic googly, a wrong, as the Australians call it, and Ravindra had no answer to it. But Boovi has an answer to the next ball from Maxwell, because he gets off strike by knocking it down to fine leg.
I mean, that last wicket, it was a microfibre away from being in, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he shouldn't even be given that possibility, because he should have his foot far enough back. He was playing an attacking shot. The next ball is nudged. That's the first boundary for so long. Maxwell goes offline down the leg side, and he's nudged to fine leg for one of these.
It's Nissan Shi.
It's Nissan Shi.
We're going to have a change here in on commentary in the next 2 balls. If they can hear us in the green room, I hope they'll be getting ready to come in.
Yeah, I've done 2 sessions in a row.
So you have?
I'm off.
Maxwell in, it goes back, does Jadav, who suddenly looks a key player, and it's fielded by Maxwell. It's a Richie spinning 135 off 121 now, as this ball completes the 30th over, and it's a defensive bat from Jadav. India 138 for 6, 30 overs gone.
Green room, are you listening?
I don't think so. I should not get through some circular cricket shout-outs. Abhinay Naik, Osha Ramesh, Rakesh Dalai, Mangesh Walunj. Welcome.
Yes, welcome indeed. When I started my spell 10 overs ago, I felt the match was pretty much in the balance. But now, very much Australia on top, with just Boovi and the bowlers trying to keep Jadav company, with still 135 still to go. So, still a long way to go.
I should just give us some begging jingles, so here we go.
The best things in life are free. Just like Gorilla Commentary, we need money. That's what I want. We need money. I don't like the BBC.
You may not like the BBC. You don't have to, because we're here. That's driven by... Who would that be? That would be Jada.
Bhuvi Kumar, I think.
And it's straight to cover and there's no run. Oh, is it Kados? Here we go. Zampa bowls, and it's played again out to cover. And
it wouldn't be Yadav because he's left-handed.
No, I meant Kados
Jadav.
Yes. Oh, bummer. Of course. Forget it. I'm going mad. I've just been yapping away in there. That was a googly by Zampa, and it's guided down to short third man by Bhuvi Kumar, and there is no run. You need to plug it in. It's what it usually is for everything, Gary, if you know what that is. Oh, please. How long have you been here? It's our name.
And the year we started.
Zampa in and clipped into the leg side. And they go through for a quick single and they make it. I put some money on India, which is really foolish at 5-1. That was just before Jadeja was out. And now I think I've just wasted it.
Well, can you put a stop loss on it?
No, it's at a bookie.
Ah.
And India's... well, I mean, I could try and hedge out on Australia, but 8-1 on, I don't think I think it's impossible to hedge out, really. If Australia then did lose, I wouldn't be able to make the money that I'd need to put on to get the money back out of that to cover the bet that I would make on India. Anyway, last ball of the over is played back to Zampa by Bhuvi Kumar, and there ain't no run.
Yeah, Yoel has a good point here, I feel. Says West Indies is not as reliant on Gale as used to be. Shai Hope almost beat India single-handedly a few months ago.
And Hetmeyer
And
as well.
Hetmeyer is certainly good chasing a total.
Yeah, another team that seem to be prefer chasing. India have really lost their way in this series. I mean, they were 2-0 up and cruising.
Well, Divya Raj said from Circular Cricket says 5 wickets down feels almost like the end of the game. Once we had a very deep batting order.
Well, they certainly missed Dhoni, I feel. You know, Dhoni has been rotated out for the 2 matches, and it's all well and good to give Rishabh Pant a go. I think he's extremely exciting talent, Pant, but I think he should be playing as a specialist batsman.
Quite possibly. Nathan Lyon starts his 7th over and the first ball on the back foot. He's pushed by Bhuvi Kumar up to mid-on, and there is no run.
And I know people will be saying, well, who'd you drop for him? Well, you know, I would certainly have been more willing to rotate Rohit Sharma out, who everyone knows about Rohit. So why not give Pant a go at the top of the order?
Yeah, I mean, we were just having this discussion earlier. I mean, some of this rotation is trying to figure out what to do for the World Cup, trying to fringe players, isn't it? As you go back, cut nicely by Jadav, beats the man who's up inside the circle at third man, and races away to the boundary for 4 runs, 144 for 6.
Just gave himself a little bit of room there, Jadav. That's all I was asking for in my commentary spell. Not, you know, sort of histrionics at the wicket, but just move around a bit.
Do what Joe Root does so well, and Kane Williamson is manoeuvre the ball into the gaps. When the bad ball comes, you hit it for 4. You try, but just don't try and hit it too hard and aerial, really, I suppose. Played out behind square on the leg side, no run.
Kunal Talani says, joining in pretty late today. What's happening out there?
Well, to be fair, Australia could have got a much bigger score than they did as well. Clips by Jadav down to long leg, and they'll just rotate another single. 128 of 110, if they had wickets in hand, would be so doable. But they don't have the wickets in hand. They've only got 4 left. Hendo's now a big fan of Bhuvi Kumar's batting. But it would be a stretch to get him through, to take this through to the end. Jadav is capable of doing it, I think. We've seen what he can do. As that's played out square into the deep by Bhuvi Kumar. Backward point, and they get another single. How was the National Theatre this morning?
Oh, it was lovely. It was a project they're doing with schools, so lots of kids there making props and trying on costumes. I'll just break off.
Nathan Lyon in. Ooh. Goes on with the arm. It's a bit flatter, a bit quicker, and Jadav just defends it out to the leg side, no run.
It opened up with them in the Littleton Theatre, looking at the opening scene of Tartuffe, which is set in a kind of 1920s, 1930s mansion, a beautiful set, and then they had various of the technicians coming on stage explaining what a stage manager does, what a lighting technician does, and so on. The idea of them is to get them to think about careers in theatre, but also think about it from the science and technology angle, not just from the kind of creative angle.
Yes.
So it's good work that's being undertaken there.
This series batting, Rohit Sharma's got 202 runs, Shikhar Dhawan is 177, Virat Kohli 310. Kedar Jadav's got 144, an average of 48. He is the man who needs to take them through. Vijay Shankar 120 and an average of 30. Everyone else pretty much discount. So it comes down to Jadav to save India's pride as Bhuvi Kumar goes back. He does look a lot better of a batsman than the last time I saw him bat. Maybe Hendo's right. He seems to have got a technique now. And he plays it out wide of the covers and is a single.
And we have a new bowler. And
we do indeed.
Guy.
It's this man.
Paceman Pat, and his baggy green cap. Early in the morning, just before the warm-up, he has to pull out with a dodgy back.
I know they always give man of the series to the batsman. Usually the batsman who scores the most runs, but I mean, Cummins has been fantastic in this series.
Yeah, we were saying
just me.
He really leads the Australia attack now, doesn't he? Yeah. I mean, he is the leader. I think for me, he's gone ahead of Stark. That's attempted guide by Jadav. And he nearly got an edge on it. He may have done, but it bounced just short of Pant. Sorry, what am I on about? Carey, and is no run. Is it a bit of a knuckleball even? So he just dropped short of Carey.
Well, the ball is sticking in the pitch,
yeah.
now. You know, the pitch looks as sweaty as the players, and it's just not coming onto the bat. So
well, there you go. He's got 13 wickets, an average of 15 in ODIs over 5 matches. That is stonkingly good. He is in now, bowls and cut nicely behind square. It's not going to make it to the boundary. Is that Zampa down there? I think it is, isn't it? Down at third man, they'll get a single.
He's a happy Zampa as well.
He is a happy Zampa.
He did bowl very well in that last over in particular. So he got taken off?
Well, they kind of thrown it away. But like most teams, if you get their best batsman out, you know, everyone's vulnerable. I don't think India have much to fear when they come to England.
Yeah, Armchair Cricket Podcast is telling us that very much that Australia are firm favourites to take the match in the series. I think they are at the moment.
2-0 down, you know. Don't call it a comeback. Blah, blah, blah. That's defended out to the offside by Bhuvi Kumar, and he'll get a single. Bhuvi just needs to rotate the stride, doesn't it? Jadhav needs to. They've got to take it easy and try and get. I said this the other day. If you can get within 27 off the last 12 balls, 13 balls, you win with a shout. It's not a good one, but at least you take it deep. Once you get within that last 20, 30 runs, as we saw in the World T20 Cup final when Craig Braithwaite smashed bloody Stokesy for 4 sixes in a row, you've got a chance, and every once in a while you get it.
Make as many as they can risk-free in the next 8 overs.
Exactly. It's defended up to long off.
Yes, and
mid-off, sorry, and there's no run.
It was Carlos Braithwaite who made himself immortal in that tie. We have a tweet from Knuckle, who's had the stats guru beavering away on his behalf. We'll give you that at the end of the over.
Yep. Kohli's looking very animated on the boundary, chatting to somebody. I can't see who that was.
Kohli Cam,
exactly. As we see Finch knocked one out of his left nostril. Nice. I should be doing that. I've got cold. Cummins in, cut nicely. Good fielding. I presume that's Maxwell at backward point. It is indeed. And he stops them getting any runs.
Yes, he'd be feeling a lot better, Maxwell, because his dolly catch proved not to count for many runs. But Knuckle says, interesting hypothesis and one worth looking at. In games where India are chasing and Kohli is dismissed for 30 or fewer, the win-loss record is 21 wins, 23 losses, 2 ties. The last win was October 2017.
Well, someone else needed to take it on. I mean, they've got match winners. I mean, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit could have taken it deep. That was appalling. Kedar Javad is good support at the end. I mean, they got the batting to do it. I don't, if I was them, I wouldn't be getting too hassled if I lost an ODI series against Australia. You never want to lose it, but I think that's played horribly shanked up to mid-on. He went back to cut it.
This is an Australia team that's both weakened and in transition, and ranked, I think, 8th in the world. I mean, it's a real one in the eye for India if they lose a home series from 2-0 up.
They've found a quite decent balance, weirdly, though, haven't they? I mean, Khawaja's had the season of his ODI career probably, as that's clipped into the leg side. Down to long leg by Jadhav, and he'll get himself a single. I mean,
Finch has had form again.
Finch has had a bit of form.
Has had a good couple of games.
Yeah,
all the runs have been scored.
Lyon has bowled very well.
If you look at Australia, virtually all their runs have been scored at the top of the order. Hardly anything from middle order down. Maxwell hasn't had a particularly good series even. It's all been Finch, Khawaja.
He has bowled well.
He's bowled reasonably. Yeah, he's an all-rounder really. Defended by Bhuvi Kumar, inside half of the bat, goes out square on the leg side, and there's no run. All the runs have been scored at the top of the order for Australia. When India were winning, a lot of the runs were scored at the top. I mean, Kohli's got 2 tons in this series and not done much else in the other games. Rohit's had a bit of scratchy season. Shikhar Dhawan has scored 140 or 155 runs, of which 143 were in one innings. Played up to mid-on, and there's no run. So, you could say for both teams they've got issues, but if your top order does score those runs, it's going to be a lot healthier. On the back foot, Bhuvi Kumar just defends it back, and Lyon goes across his crease and defends. I mean, Australia today should have got 340. I mean, they were God no. I mean, after 28 overs, they were on. What were they on? About 170 or something. 160. I mean, if you go for the. We were looking at a double score at 32 overs via the Katie Scott method, as that's played up to mid-on. There's no run. They should have got 350, and they ended up getting 280. And then after last four overs, they got 40. Because when I left here to get gas, they were 230 for 6, 7, maybe, with 4 overs left. And I came back, and they were on 270. I was like, that's pretty good go.
That's true. Ravi Nair is with us. Says Jadav is going to have to do an Ashton, Turner, or Agar to get India home, isn't he?
Yes, pretty much, but it's doable.
And Ravi continues in plaintive tones, really, saying nothing to see here, folks. Nothing except a sharp blow to the solar plexus for India's belief they were World Cup favourites.
Well, they weren't World Cup favourites. England are, which doesn't sit well with an Englishman. We should never be considered favourites because we're always due a fuck up. Cummins is in, and I think he's been put back on to break the partnership and really put the nail in the coffin. First ball is hit square by Jadav, and they get a single. Kohli, flat-footed waft, wasn't it, really? First ball by Stoinis. Terrible. And some poor hitting afterwards. They need to chill out. It wasn't a big score to chase, really. And maybe it will make them think twice. But they have got a good side.
Well, they haven't lost yet. I mean, it still looks a long way off. But Jadav's got 19 from 22. Boovi just settling in 7 from 17.
Edged by Boovi. Would he get a 4? He does get a 4. Beautiful shot. Beat it all ends up. Outside edge. Scoots through where the slip should be. Down to third man, 4 runs.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
And that guy the other day. Who was it? The batsman the other day? I want to say Hunter. Was it Hunter?
Turner.
Ashton Turner. Yeah.
I don't know why I had Hunter in my head. I knew who I meant. They were dead and buried the other day, weren't they? And he got 80 odd, 90 odd, or whatever it was, or 43 balls. It can be done. It can be done. You've got to believe, otherwise why would you play? Off the back foot, Boovi Kumar, square on the offside, there's no run.
Some people joining us from Circular Cricket: Rajani Sun, Shiva Rox, and Sudaka. Welcome all.
Welcome to you all. What are your thoughts?
Their thoughts are in Hindi, so I can't.
No. Kunal, send us a proper sentence.
Kunal Tulani has some thoughts, which I think they're quite interesting as well, which I shall bring you at the end of the over.
Cummins up to the crease. Boovi looks a bit scared by that and goes to the leg side.
Tucked up somewhat.
Yeah, he was tucked up.
Came back in at him off the seam.
He tried to go to leg side and just played it out to third man, no run.
Kunal says, I wouldn't worry too much about this performance from India. Just been on Cricinfo. India have been exceptional in the away ODI series, but of the last 8 home ODI series, 6 have gone to a decider. It's become the norm, and sure, they'll bring their best at the World Cup.
I'm sure they will. Cummins in. Boovi Kumar is on the inside of it and plays it out square to backward point on the boundary. I think Zampa down there, and they'll get a single.
I think it's dangerous to think you can turn form on and off again.
No, you can't, but bilateral ODI series is a whole different ballgame to a competition.
Yeah, I agree.
It's getting yourself in a groove.
A culture can get embedded in a side, and the culture of everyone looking up to King Kohli to solve all the problems of the batting is looking a bit ingrained.
A lot of teams do have that, though. It's clipped into the leg side by Jadav, out to deep square leg, and they'll get a single.
Well, when has a one-person batting lineup won a World Cup?
It hasn't, but most teams will have 2 or maybe. I mean, if you look at New Zealand, you would rely. You'd always fancy. I do remember the ICC game. Was it England played New Zealand in the Champions Trophy in England a couple of years ago? We didn't get a particularly great score. Can anyone refresh the stream? We're struck on an advert.
Well, I think they're just about to go, thankfully, to a drinks break, so we can probably run through some more people from circular cricket.
What you do is you go to the little thing in the bottom. No, go to the bottom right-hand corner. Oh, for fuck's sake! Log off and log in again.
Just for doing that, I mean, Ross Taylor has been in scintillating form recently.
Top, the little man in the top. Up, right. No, down. The little person in a circle. That's the one. Press log out. That's it. Press that. Yes. Then go to log in again. Go to log in. Is this Hendo or is this Fred? Log in. Log in. Press play. Click on the top video. That's it. Just click there. Anywhere. There you go. Go down to the bottom right where the 2 arrows are. Click that. Fuck me.
It's like working your mum through on the phone doing technical support.
We're back. Sorry about that. That's on-air instructions on how to refresh a video on UK Hotstar. Where was I? So there was that, with the Kiwis in that particular match, Kane Williamson was the man. And you've got to get Kane Williamson out. He's capable of winning a match. And Mark, we finally got him out with a slower ball bouncer on I can't remember if he got 100 or high 80s or whatever it was, but it was a really important wicket. And you take him and say Ross Taylor, important to get out for if you can
Ross
get them
Taylor's
out.
had a
stunking
4 years since the last World Cup.
Well, exactly. These are the players. If you can get them out, I think it does create a little bit of the collywobbles in the rest of the players in the side.
Yeah, I think that's always the case.
Because everyone knows that they're the guys there,
But New Zealand haven't won a World Cup, and maybe that's why they've never quite had the batting depth available, because they've certainly had lots of bowling options. But I do think it's almost it's the kind of thing that the more you say it, the more it gets reinforced, and you get a kind of confirmation bias. In that Kohli is so much,
probably true.
Kohli is so much the dominant figure that the lift that the opposition get when you get him out, and the equal and opposite reaction of the I won't say despair, but the blow to morale that India get, it's getting to be, I think, a problem for India.
To a degree, I think you're right, but that's what I mean. I think those players for other teams equally important. Defender down the track and there's no run. You look at England, if you get the top two out, I mean, Roy is as valuable as Root, but you always feel if you get Root and you get Morgan, and especially if you get down to, even when England are playing, you could be something for, quite a lot, say 100 for 5. Butler can come in and still win a match for you. He's one of our match winners. That's play behind square down the short man on a short 45 and there's no run.
Messi just says, oh God, I feel so sorry for the Bears Cubs if that's how he instructs them.
I had a picture in front of me. I was just trying to guide the messages. No, I don't.
Ravi's tweet, which I'll come to in a moment.
Lion up bowls. Oh, there's an appeal for ODI.
Just outside the line.
Ravi, no, I was actually thinking that. It says, Gary, when has a one-person batting lineup won the World Cup? Ravi, I give you India 1983, a no-person batting lineup. I was actually thinking of India 83, where they 183, I think they got, and that was enough to win a World Cup final.
Down the leg side. It's given us a wide. I think Carey's taken the bails and hopeful that it won't be given as a wide.
Kapil Dev, of course, did score 107.
Wide.
Kapil Dev did score 175, not out, didn't he, at Tunbridge. I was at Old Trafford watching England play on the same day.
They won on the basis of some very good dibbly-doubly bowling from Amarnath and also the spin bowling of Kit Izzad.
Yeah, and Roger Binney.
Well, it quickly went upstairs, but Janab didn't lift his feet off the ground.
Particularly in the final, I think. Did no West Indian score more than 27?
Something like that. It was a catch of Kapil Dev running back towards the grandstand, wasn't it, to dismiss King Viv that made the difference?
Lion is in. Janab just guides that out through point. There is no one at point. There's a man out at deep point, and he'll field that. And there's no single save.
A good point from Poor Man's Son. Says the scary thing about New Zealand is that Guptill seems to have got his form back, and he can be so destructive with others playing around.
He's a bit in and out though. You can
have a T20 man these days. I think than ODIs.
I mean, they kind of he plays a little bit like England do, don't they, with Roy on the back foot. Kumar strapples that down to long on past Lion, who gets a palm on as it goes past him.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and score some boundaries soon, India, here. They've still got plenty of time. They've got 14 overs, but that run rate is beginning to climb a bit now, and I think the pushing it around is going to have to.
Well, it's going to have
be
to
left
stop.
alone.
I mean, the one thing is, I think Booby's probably not the man to club it, is he? I mean, Jadav's got to do the work here. Last ball is just played off the back foot by Kumar out to the cover, and there's no one. I mean, Booby's more traditional player, plays traditional shots, and you've got to have a little bit of guile about you for an ODI at this point.
Yeah, on World Cup Watch, Knuckle is making a good point here. Says the 10-team World Cup is still stupid, but it is becoming more interesting. England and India have so much competition for certain spots in the 11 that it's beginning to be a little destabilising, while New Zealand and Pakistan look better and more settled by the match. So perhaps this is the kind of thing we'll be looking at. I think we do have some podcasts planned for previewing the World Cup.
I imagine we'll do at least one, and hopefully some more.
Yeah, a week is a long time in cricket. At the moment.
Absolutely.
Jason, how right you are.
Well, I've got some people wanting to comment from Circular Cricket. Sam K. Rao says there's a poor team selection today. Where is KL Rahul?
Well, I'm a big fan of KL Rahul, especially in limited overs.
And
not so much
Yogesh
in tests.
Rajput says Pant at number 4. That's a big blunder.
Defending back to the bowler, there's no run. Again, I mean, they might have a similar sort of problem to England when they've got a lot of 5, 6, 7s. They got a settled top 2, and this, let's face it, last year they had a golden year, didn't they? Or the last 18 months. I mean, Rohit and Shikhar Dhawan in ODI cricket, their average last year was 90 or something ridiculous like that, the opening wicket. And it's never always going to be like that. On the back foot again, Kumar gets inside, the ball plays out to extra cover. They will get 2 for this, that's well placed. And one feels that if Boovy's going to be a success here and with Janav and take them deep, he needs to be able to hit 2s. If he's not going to hit boundaries, he needs to be able to hit 2s or at least rotate the strike, and he's not been done doing that particularly well.
He likes going inside out, this Booby.
Yeah.
He stays leg side of the ball and then goes. The back comes out almost in a kind of circular swing, a kind of Jim Furyk type swing, as it comes down and takes balls off middle stump through extra cover.
Cummins is up to the crease now, bowls. The thing is, Cummins still, including this over, has 5 overs. Oh no, it's Jai Richardson, sorry, what am I on about? Has 5 overs including this over as well.
Yeah, there's a big gap between
there's no run.
Big gap between bat and pad here, and I think Richardson will fancy getting one to go through that gate that keeps a bit low.
Well, I was thinking that as you're saying, with balls coming into Bhuvi Kumar, they might even possibly bowl Finch.
Ooh! Bhuvi leans back, and I think he tried to just guide that over the top of the keeper. He tried to ramp it, didn't he? It followed him, and he didn't get anything on it.
Just to get balls the ball, left arm darts round the wicket into him and then cramp him for room.
No, they're looking at 9.
Well, he's about to bowl out.
He's looking uncomfortable. I think that's why they're following. He's running around. He's got his hands on his hips like his
sciatica.
Has he got sciatica?
I don't know, but it looks like he has.
He certainly looks like he's in trouble with his back. Jai Richardson again. Bhuvi Kumar keeps inside the line. His front foot pulls away as he plays a sort of defensive shot at it. Massive cap and gets an inside edge. He's lucky. Goes out square on the leg side and there's no run. He doesn't like. I mean, this is the thing. Bhuvi doesn't like the pace, really, does he? Let's be honest.
I'm not sure that's true. I think he likes working pace.
I think he likes working at pace, but I don't think he doesn't.
He's not a big hitter in the way that maybe Jadav is.
And he's 110 or 79 balls. And Jarvis is up to the crease on the back foot, defended out to the offside.
But what he probably is more than anything else is a person who plays proper cricket shots. I mean, that ball was there really. It was short of a length. In at the body, that was there to be pulled with a horizontal bat, and he played it with a nice straight bat.
Yeah, we've got Ravi with us, who says Connors used to complain that Amritraj served so slowly he fell asleep waiting for the ball. India used the same principle in '83 against Viv et al. Binney, Amarnath and co. bored him into hoiking to mid-wicket. That is absolutely true. I remember watching the match. Chris TB says South Africa have the worst of both. An unsettled 11, but not due to competition. do have some bowlers who will be extremely effective in English conditions in early summer, though.
They also
Well,
have
yeah,
some
we had
bowlers
it. We had it. Oh, what's that man running?
coming back to strength.
There's someone running on the pitch. And he's clearly not. He's run up to the umpire. Maybe they've got new bails. I think bails might.
Yeah, I think it's a person who's justified to be on. We're so used to people running on in yellow vests and so on. And of course,
man, he's in football last weekend.
Yeah, it was all a bit crazy.
It's mad, isn't
all
it?
a bit crazy at the football.
I had a point.
I think it was Boovy's butler who was running on there because he brought on some new laces.
It's a lace waller.
Yeah, lace waller. So 37 overs gone. India need 110 from 78. It's not so long ago I was talking about Ritchie being happy when the runs required were fewer than the balls to be bowled, but it's certainly not that anymore.
No, it's not. That turns into Janab, who works it to square leg and there's no run. At some point he's going to have to go.
Yeah, the Ritchie happiness index, by the way, is because Richie Benno always used to say that if the number of runs is higher than the balls left, you know, you're beginning to get into a bit of trouble in a chase.
That'd be true. Lyon tosses that one up. It's defended by Jadav. Just drops it out on the offside carry, runs across, picks it up, and there's no run. Someone's got to do something at some point. You can't just run this out.
Yep. Some quick track of shout-outs. Did it Bizet says, why is Ryudu not playing? Narendra Saini says hi. Mo Saheb says Australia win.
Defended back to the bowler and there's no run.
Davrash Negi says Kedar will win the match for India. And Krishna Kumar Mohammed Nair says this exposes a below average India team.
Well, maybe. Tossed up, smashed, back down the ground, bounces just before the skipper Finch, who's at mid-off, and there is no run.
I would have wanted about 7 if I played that shot, and instead he didn't even get a single.
No.
Good work from
Good
Finch.
work by Finch, yeah. He came in, thought there might be a catching opportunity. He realised it wasn't there. He managed to smother it and stop it. Lyon is up to the crease, bowls horrible filth, drags it down, and Jadav, eyes light up, goes back to cut it, misses it completely. Carey fumbles it, takes it, no run.
I've been wondering who Aaron Finch reminds me of. It's not so much that he looks exactly like him, but he just has an air of him. And I'll tell you after the next delivery.
Okie dokie. Lyon, last ball of his final over, 1 for 34 he's got. Drags it short again and in at Midland leg stump. Kedar Jadav can only work it straight to square leg, and there ain't no run.
I think it's his sort of physiology, his physical appearance, as much as anything else. It's just a touch of Ricky Hatton in Aaron Finch.
The pugnacious thing, yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, he is a bit like a pocket battleship.
That's it. You'd fancy we're seeing MS Dhoni working the bags here. He enjoys relaxing as a boxer. I don't know whether Aaron Finch does, but certainly he looks like he'd go in there with the Calzaghes and the Ricky Hattons of this world.
Finch certainly looks like a very good middleweight.
Not much reach, one would think. Jai Richardson's going to continue. It's on the legs of Booby Kumar. Can't beat a man at mid-wicket though. And there's no run, and
these guys are both struggling to get
they
the ball away.
are both struggling to get the ball away.
Booby Kumar's got 15 off 29, Jadav's got 21 off 34.
Yeah,
and they're now going to need to require about 8 and over.
Yeah. You've got to think Jadav is the more complicit in that in this stagnation. I mean, it's not easy scoring runs on this wicket, but he is very much the senior partner here. I think he's got to start trying to find the boundaries before Booby.
Yeah, no, I do think you're totally right. Short ball. And Booby goes back, lifts his hands, doesn't really know where the ball has gone as it drops down just on the leg side.
It's a definite
Jadav
technique to Kumar to bowl short because he doesn't play the hook.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't play the hook.
And I'll tell you what else, that went off the gloves there. In the 18 overs where I've been on the mic, I think that's the first time we've seen a single taken with a ball that's just been dropped and they've run. That's partly because of the quality of the Australian bowling, partly because India haven't been looking for it, but also Finch getting his close fielders in really tight.
Defended into the offside by Jadav, and there's no run.
I keep saying this in the World Cup. I think tiny attention to detail like that, getting your men saving one, really saving one, is going to make a big difference. You can't always have that because when sides are looking for boundaries. Of course, the men have to drop back onto the edge of the circle, and then there's one almost every time you drop the ball.
Yeah.
But it's no surprise that we've been 18 minutes and 26 deliveries since the last boundary. It's just good stuff from the Australians.
All right, down the leg side, and first boundary for a while there. Hey, it's
27th ball
shoved
goes.
down the leg side by
Commentators
Gyrus, and Janav helps it round to a very fine leg for 4 runs.
Now my innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went.
I can do what I always complain about now, where the batsman missed the ball, it took the thigh pad. You can't set a field for it, and you get 4 runs.
No, you don't want to be bowling there now. We're buffering. Oh no, we're back. 168 for 6. India with 11 overs and 2 balls left, defended by Janav, out to cover, and there's no run. Because I don't think he has much confidence in Booby at the other end, does he, to be able to rotate the strike?
Well,
So
you'll have to start doing something soon, because the ask is just going to get too big. I mean, arguably it's already too big. 105 off 67.
9.4 and over required.
You know, it's all well and good saying, take it down to 3 overs and 35 runs required, but I don't think they're even going to get that now.
No, well, they're not looking at that, are they, at the moment? Anyway, Jai Richardson comes in to bowl Janav again, works that out square on the leg side, behind square. There is a man out there on the deep, and a horrible throw in, which Carey doesn't take very well, but they get themselves a single.
To be fair to Carey, he was sort of entangled with the batsman at the time, so it wasn't a particularly easy one to take.
No, there's the bounce as well.
These adverts that we're getting on Hotstar, they all feature the Indian players, and you can kind of see as India are sinking to a series defeat here in hardly going down all guns blazing. The adverts look somewhat incongruous, don't they? That's always the trouble when you set yourself up for a fall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, they're not saying how great we are. It's about the IPL, and I'm not saying that any other country's sportsmen in any sport or sportswomen wouldn't do it, but it just looks a little incongruous.
Maxwell comes in, and his first ball, Janav has decided that he's going to go after Maxwell. Slaps it straight back past him, inside man at mid-off, who's up inside the circle, who's the skipper Finch, and races away to the boundary for 4 runs.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
We didn't have any tweets for a while, but it started to come in. Mick Haythorpe says, Lyons once again proving how valuable he is. He doesn't get the credit he's due in the shorter formats.
Nope.
Well, he does from me, because I think he's a fantastic bowler, but I know what you mean.
But he's a one-spell bowler. He has to bowl his 10 in a row, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the middle overs. That's. I'm not sure you've got a different game plan for him when he's in the side.
Didn't play like that the other day. That's worked into the leg side, square leg, and there's no run.
Zach Cairns says, I feel as though India's lower order could cost them a game or 2 in the World Cup. Their tail is extremely weak, and they seem to panic when their top order fails. Hardik Pandya will play a crucial role in the middle order.
Well, yeah, I would. I think Hardik is a good call. That's worked down to long leg once more. Maxwell puts hands on his head. Maybe it would have been an LBW shot.
Well, he was his very round arm, sort of Malinga style delivery, Yadav delivery, and he just missed out on being nailed straight in front of off stump.
Maxwell is in. Booby.
That's the way to do it, Maxwell. If you can't get the ball, take the man out to make sure he can't run.
Booby flicks his wrists and sends it back down the track. And Maxwell goes across the crease, palms it down with his right hand, and meanwhile barges over Jadav at the bowler's end. They both have a little smile about it.
Probably play for the same IPL side.
Yeah, that one is looked like an arm ball, pretty flat one.
Would you a change after this ball in the green room?
Indeed. Yes, please. And there's no run as it goes down to a short third man. As Maxwell comes in, bowls, and it's driven behind square. There isn't anyone there either. Jadav, it's Bhuvi Kumar, sorry. They got a single, didn't they, earlier in the over? And Bhuvi Kumar gets a 4. 20 off 33. That's not a bad over. 10 off that. 178 for 6. Fuck off, all of us. Who's coming out? Where am I going? 3-man
excellent.
change. Who's in here then?
Okay. So we will give you a bit of begging.
It's been too many overs on a little couch, and just like an old biddy, they need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa, change gon' come. Oh yes it is.
Change has come, and that change means that I, Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, are taking over in the ball by ball chair. On my right, on jingles, it's not Fred Titmus.
Hello.
And on my left, on tweets, it's Nestle Boy himself.
Good day.
95 required off 60 balls is a tough ask for India with only 4 wickets in hand, but they're doing a decent job of it at the moment. They've consolidated for sure. In comes Zampa, bowls another poor ball. He's got wickets, but he's also from time to time just dragged the ball down really poorly. Kedesh Jadhav swings it away to the deep backward square boundary, and they take a single.
Beijing ducks are with us again. I pop out to get some shopping with the wife and return to this. So much for our predictions, eh? Richardson obviously wasn't listening. Don't be sad, 283 ain't bad. Loving the show.
Well, actually, come to think, your predictions are pretty good. You said 100 for Khawaja, you said 20 for Virat Kohli. Those two you got right on the nose. You really should have had more entries in the GPL. I think we only had one entry in the end.
Well, he should probably only have one entry in the GPL if his predictions are that good.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Forward comes Bhuvi Kumar and defends to mid-wicket. Now, if you want to read my wonderful article about Bhuvi Kumar and his batting, go to GorillaCricket.com and go to features. You can read it there.
Yeah.
Do you want to tweet it out, Fred? Or no? All right then.
I don't know where it is.
Armchair Cricket Podcast, Loving Lion.
Onto the back foot goes Bhuvi, and he cuts it out to deep extra, and they take a single. 180 for 6. We're into the last 10 overs of the match. Current run rate is a mere 4.44. The required rate is 9.79. Zampa is in his 9th over, 3 for 35. Jadhav has 28. Kumar has 21.
And considering how many poor balls he's bowled, 3 for 35 in the 9th
It's
over
quite amazing.
is ludicrous.
First ball went for 6, didn't it? Rishabh Pant smashed it. That's full on leg stump and eased to the vacant mid-wicket area where there is no one. That's why it's vacant. And that would make the bear very upset. He always likes a short mid-wicket in there.
What's the difference between vacant and untenanted?
There is no difference.
Just words.
They are synonyms.
They're just words.
It's only words.
Words.
And words are all I have
to take
your heart away.
Rita Coolidge. Onto the back foot goes Kumar, and then hits the ball down into his foot. And so the ball just rebounds away to the right of the to the left of the wicket, and there goes Carey to get it. 49 this partnership worth from 73 balls. Did see Bhuvi play it. Brilliant knock, and that's partly what the article is about, against Sri Lanka a year or two ago in a one-day international. But he did have Dhoni alongside him. Back goes Kumar. A shortish delivery yet again from Zampa. He works it out to deep mid-wicket and takes the single. 182 for 6. 9 overs remaining.
I don't know where we were up to on the Circle of Cricket watchers. A.B. Kishore has joined us, so has Rajesh Nakrani, who thinks that the openers should be changed and Rahul and Kartik are the best options. What's happening with Indian batting, says Shrilesh Shinde. And Priyank Singh Shahi says Rohit Sharma should be captain. Rohit win 3 titles in IPL, whilst Kohli has won none.
Well, it's a different form of the game. It's short form, but it's
also depends
not
on
the
who you're
shortest.
captaining.
Well, who you have at your disposal, absolutely. Glenn Maxwell will continue. He's bowled 5 overs, none for 25, but that's a reasonable job that he's done so far. And it's going to be Bhuvneshwar Kumar to face. Maxwell just making some rearrangements to the fielding furniture. Here comes Maxwell, slings it in, and back goes Bhuvi and tickles it away to mid-wicket. There is no run.
He's not nearly as slingy as Kedar Jadhav.
Oh no, he's not. But he's quite slingy. Back goes Kumar and cuts well. He may actually get a couple here. No, it's Hanscom quickly round to his left at deep cover. So just the one. 183 for 6, 90 required from 52 balls.
When they get their players back, Australia, I'm thinking that there could be quite a force at the World Cup. Do you think?
I think they could. I think they'll take a lot of confidence from this. Now swung away by Kedar Jadhav. He's got hold of that really well. Over the top of deep mid wicket it goes. 6 runs. Well, he's got Jadhav there with him, Kumar. If he can just provide good support, and Jadhav, we've seen, can get runs at quite a rate. We saw him bat beautifully against England on their last tour of India in those one-dayers.
He is quite slingy, isn't he?
It's the slingy Maxwell to the slingy Kedar Jadhav.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone can play sling bowling,
it's a sling off.
Sling bowling, it's got to be Kedar Jadhav.
Sling off.
Arpit Kavya Gupta says India is best, but it's all about time, which is quite an enigmatic statement.
Not quite sure what to make of that one. Goes back to this and pushes it through mid-wicket. He wants to come back for a second. They're going to go for it, and they're going to get it because
picked up the ball.
The man running back to get that picked up the ball.
Why?
When the man coming in from the deep wicket boundary should have been the one to do so. It was Zampa getting in the way of whoever it was coming in from mid-wicket. So that's very well spotted by Jadhav.
And I think Maxwell was saying exactly what you were just saying to his fielders.
Well, except with maybe one or two more expletives.
Possibly. Joel says, which of Stark, Hazelwood, Coulter-Nile come into the World Cup team? At whose expense?
Well, I mean, Stark's fit. You've got to play Stark, and Cummins has done really well in this series. And
I think Stark could swing the ball in England if Bancroft's playing.
Defended back to Glenn Maxwell by Jadhav, who's on now 37 from 46. India, they've got a chance here. Could be a really
close
thrilling finish. Yeah. He's in again. He goes back to a ball that's been given more flight and less sling from Maxwell. That's the end of the over. 191 for 6, 8 remain.
We need a rim shot jingle when anyone makes a good joke.
Yeah.
Oh, we do, don't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that won't be used very often then.
He's here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress on the way out.
Indeed.
Gautam Maya has joined us. Unfortunately, I don't speak the language you've sent us a message in, but thanks for messaging nonetheless. If you're watching us on Circle of Cricket, or if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, don't forget to click subscribe and or thumbs up. Just a little something to show that you care.
Yeah, even have a few words and say good commentary or something like that. That would be nice.
Or very good commentary. Or all sorts of opinions.
Excellent melodious voices. I always like that one, especially when I'm on. Here comes Zampa. His final over is drilled back by Boovie. I'm trying to think. I've lost track of who was facing then. I think it was Boovie. They've come through for a single as the ball was half stopped by Zampa. In fact, it could have rebounded back onto the stumps, but Jadhav would have been in. So they get the one there. 192 for 6, 81 required of 47 balls. Run rate's now just edged over 10. He's in again, gives this one air and turns it beautifully past the outside edge of Kedar Jadhav's bat. It's not taken cleanly by Carey, so a good job perhaps that he didn't get an edge to that one.
If you don't know that we've been commentating on cricket since 2014, everything that we've commentated on
is on our archive. This is a full toss, bunted out to deep mid-wicket, Maxwell Fields. They take a single.
And if you pay us 20 quid, you have access to our archive, all the commentaries, all the jingles.
All the controversies.
Oh, and there's so much of it. There's
much
literally thousands of hours.
All the talk about fashion and literature. Latin.
Films, theatre.
Absolutely every subject you can imagine. We've buffered, I'm afraid. Here comes Zampa. Oh, he's swung that one right out into the deep, and he's cleared mid-wicket. Bhuvi Kumar is on the charge. He goes to 30, 199 for 6.
I believe in miracles. since you came to bat. You 60 thing, you 60 thing, you. I believe in miracles. Since you came out to bat, you 60 thing.
Well,
Zampa in again, flatter, making room for himself, but then steering the ball up through mid-on. Bhuvi Kumar moves to 31. 200 is up for India, 200 for 6. They do need a few of those big shots mixed in with the rotating of the strike, and that was beautifully picked up by Bhuvi Kumar, who really is a highly intelligent batsman.
Nakul Pandey's with us, he says. So if Jadav takes a load of runs off Maxwell, or Maxwell gets Jadav out, who will be the king of the slingers?
Hey, now there's a jingle. Pushing to VIP. Finch at extra cover to end his 10-over spell. Stint indeed is a better word probably. 3 wickets for Zampa. He's done very well in this series, and I guess he's booked his passage to England.
NASA Hydro's SGI and Gautam Maya have been commenting on our Circle of Cricket page. Please feel free to join them. If it's in a language I speak, I will read it out.
How many languages do you speak, Fred?
4.
Seriously? Well,
why, if I lied to you the first time, why would I then actually admit it by when you say seriously by saying no, actually it's not true?
Well, because I thought you may be just being flippant.
Flippant? What?
Yeah, vu. Yeah, I think you may understand that. Is that one of the languages that you speak?
No.
Not. Cummins, is he coming back into the attack?
He
is. 7 overs, 1 for 23.
Paceman pat and his baggy green cap. Early in the morning, just before the warm-up, he has to pull out with a dodgy back.
Now,
Rick Carman!
he has 3. Jai Richardson has 3. They've got to find one more over potentially. He's in, bowls to Jadav, and Jadav works this out to deep extra cover.
I'm not sure Jai Richardson's the best bet actually to bowl his 3. He's a bit slotty.
You think Stoinis might come in and bowl more?
I think Nestle Boy's won a bet.
I think he has.
2 bets!
2 bets!
He's checking the racing results.
God, can't get the staff.
Top of the game, got me, and Brio Conti. Well done, lads.
Well done, well done. Well done,
£50,
well done.
£50.
I'm only 60p down on the day.
Oh.
And I've got 3 more races to go.
Heading for the poor
201 for 6. Cummins bowls a short ball, beautifully played by Jadav, but he's got his third man quite fine in case of that. So it's just a single to Jadav. 202 for 6, 71 required from 40 deliveries. The run rate now 10.65 required.
Armchair Cricket Podcast say Gorilla Cricket deserves special kudos for trying to pronounce and mostly getting right some interesting names from the South Asian subcontinent.
Well, it's because Fred speaks 4 languages. He's come in once more, running up and bowling on the leg stump of Kumar. He just clips the ball up to mid-on.
But none of those languages are South Asian.
So what are your languages then?
Well, it's
English-ish.
We can discuss it.
No, I want to know. I'm curious. I mean, if you're multilingual.
Do you speak Yiddish?
Yes.
That's one. There's English, Yiddish.
And what are the other 2?
American. I'd go French.
Strange.
Come on, Fred. Don't be so modest. Here's Cummins. Past the umpire. Bowles. He's made a lot of room for himself and had a big swing down the ground at that. Bhuvi Kumar makes no contact. He was nowhere near it, really. But it was a slightly desperate shot.
I think Cummins needs to get out the Yorker. Against people that are making room at his pace, I think he can clean a couple up with very full balls.
The word that we were discussing this morning, the yerk.
The yerk.
It's from Middle English.
Middle Earth.
Middle England. I don't know where. It was from somewhere.
York, his real name is Jorvik, which is Scandinavian,
Indeed.
isn't it?
This is into the legs of Kumar. He just tucks it into the onside. Finch comes into field from mid-on. 203 for 6.
Tasneem Samarkand.
Who be that?
Was tweeted to Armchair Cricket Pod and us.
Right.
About one of their tweets. But Tasneem, I don't know if you're watching or listening, or are you working?
Oh, work. The run rate's up to 11.3 now.
Ooh, 70 from 37 balls.
A big hit is required at some point Here, Cummins in again, short, turned off his hip by Jadav, down to long leg. It's only going to be a single. It's the end of the over. 44 bowled, 204 for 6, 69 required from 36 balls. Can they do it, Fred?
Another over ticks by.
It does.
Is Cummins a Yorker bowler though? I mean, is it something? Is he got that in his armoury?
I think he has. I think you've got to have it in your armoury if you're an opening bowler, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you're a strike bowler.
He just seemed to bowl length and short.
But I think that's actually a pretty successul way to bowl on this pitch. It's a little
and
bit.
he's quick. He is quick, and he's got that going for him. But I'm just thinking if he gets one right up there.
I've got to read this tweet out from Chris the Choir.
You've got to read them all out.
I think Fred is being coy because he speaks the language of love.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you have my permission to turn off now. On that basis,
he's gone all Barry White on us.
Barry White, the late Barry White,
the late great Barry White,
the Walrus of Love.
I was watching a documentary about the Wrecking Crew. Do you know the Wrecking Crew?
No.
Yeah.
About all the guys who played on all the 60s
Hal Blaine
stuff.
died yesterday.
Double change. Kai Richardson back into the attack. Jai Richardson, I should say. And hang on, he bowls a delivery, and Jadav's not ready and says, "Hang on, mate. Do you mind bowling that again?"
Oh, that's a bit. How late did he do
very
that?
Very late indeed.
Richardson, he loves to bowl, loves to bowl, loves to bowl. He spells his first name weird, you know, J-H-Y-E.
J-H-Y-E, that is right. So, that wasn't the first ball of the over. That was a non-ball. It has ceased to be. In comes Richardson, swung away down to long leg by Jadav, who runs the first half of the run and walks the rest of it.
Yeah, they need 2 a ball.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yep. 68 from 35. We need a boundary very soon, just to take a little bit of that pressure off.
We need a lot of boundaries.
Well, that is true.
But we saw Australia pull out a remarkable victory with Turner going into overdrive. With that
Batsman Turner overdrive.
Batsman
Turner overdrive.
Well,
that has gone a long way. He's cross-batted that straight down the ground. He's absolutely smashed it. Great shot from Boovy. Another 6 for him, his second. 211 for 6. Child in the it was a cutter, and he read it, and then he just made room and twatted it. I think there's probably no better way than saying he's just twatted it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the crossback shots on those ones down the ground can be the most effective. He's in again, bowls short. He strapples this one, and I think it was dropped on the return by Richardson. It would have been a very good catch.
Dropped is a very harsh term for that, I think.
I think so. I'd like to see it again at full speed as well. That would be fun. Score remains 211 for 6.
Hussein Don on Circle of Cricket a ball ago said 6, and sure enough it was.
He's absolutely right.
He's a genius.
Oh, that was a very hard catch. It's very. I'm not even sure you can call that a chance, to be honest. He was just finishing off his follow through, and he was trying so desperately to reach down. Just caught it on the end of his fingers. He's in, bowls it back of a length. Dropped into the offside by Boovy. Clever batting from him.
It was a slower ball, I think.
Was that a slower, short one, maybe? 212 for 6, 61 required from 32 balls. This excellent series is going down to the wire, I tell you. It's going down to the wire. So, Richardson, a little bit expensive. Comes in again. Bowls to Jadav, who tries to turn this on the onside, hits him on the thigh pad, loops it up to where a short leg would have been in a more attacking form of the game, or a more lengthier form of the game. It's a leg by. 213 for 6, 60 required from 31.
Yeah, the list of hit records that Wrecking Crew played on is incredible.
Yeah.
And they no recognition at all on any of the records that they... I didn't realise that...
Well, session musicians, that's the way it goes. You come in, you pay an hourly rate, you pay your piece, and then you go home.
But they were making stuff up for the songs as well. I mean, they weren't just sort of play this and go. Incredible. Really interesting doc.
Richardson in, bowls. Oh, just dropped down. They're going to hurry for a single. He's going to have to be quick because Richardson had followed that in. He underarms it, falls over at the same time.
And missed it.
And misses the stumps. So they have got the one.
He ever had any chance of affecting a run out?
You don't think so? I thought he was in quite a good position initially, but he seemed to go a little bit wider than I thought he needed to. Anyway, maybe to create the angle to throw down the stance, but he didn't do it, and so we still have 4 wickets in hand for India. Any tweets, or has it all gone quiet over there?
So, yeah, it's all gone quiet at the moment.
Okay.
After Chris the Choir's tweet about Fred speaking the language of love. Everyone's considering that.
No.
On the Twitter sphere.
No, I think people will be tuning out in their millions. 272 for 9 is what Australia got, all built on the back of a wonderful knock from Khawaja, who hit his 2nd century of the season, of the series. 100 off 106 balls, Hanscom 52, and a nice little hand by Joe Richardson at the end, 29 off 21. Cummins continues. Oh, he's created room for himself, and then I think deliberately edged that through second slip, and with the pace of the ball, it takes it to the third man boundary.
My name is Lakan.
Well, this is great stuff from Bhuvi Kumar. Really clever batting. He's such an intelligent player. He's got wonderful eyes. They look great, and they see the ball well. Here is Cummins. What can he reply with? A big full wide one.
Awful.
And 2 wide, in fact, outside the guidance line, and that will be one of these. 219 for 654 required from 29 balls.
And these two have put on how much?
A lot. Well, it was 72 a couple of minutes ago, or a few minutes ago, so we must be into the 80 or 80 plus. Cummins again running towards that higgledy-piggledy stand. It's a drop down square on the offside. The infielders are back on the edge of the circle of cricket, and they take a single. 220 for 6. Bhuvi Kumar has overtaken Jadav. He's on 46. Go and read my article immediately. He could have run him out there, couldn't he? Yeah, he could have done.
Very difficult, though, to scoop up the ball. The reason he came wide was we're talking about the run-out attempt in the last over from Richardson. Is he wanted to be facing the wicket when he finally got to the ball, so that he doesn't have, so he can throw it forward rather than
side flick it. Yeah.
There's a long way to come down to the ball for him as well, isn't there?
Cummins bowls. Oh, right up in the block hole. He's looking for that Yorker that we wondered whether he had. It's turned off his legs. It's a full toss, and there's a bit of a mix-up out there between deep square leg and deep mid-wicket, who were both converging from opposite directions. They get back for 2, and the score is 2 for 6.
Australia need to concentrate here. They don't want any of this kind of nonsense.
Well, you also got to wonder, of course, India didn't want to be bowling at this time, and it may be Dew that's causing some problems. Coming short, pulled down into the ground, not really timed by Jadav, who just trots off and with rather short steps tries to walk most of the single.
Wait, that's poor, because fielders are misfielding. They can slip. Even if you've walked the first one, you're going to have trouble coming back for a quick second.
Yeah, very good point, Fred. 223 for 650 required from 26 balls. That's a run rate of 11.54 and over. 2 balls remaining in this, the 46th. And it's Cummins turning at the top of his run, which is basically on the edge of the 30-metre circle. Defended by Kumar, looking for the quick single up towards mid-on, but deciding against it as Sean Marsh out there, isn't it? So someone must be off the field for Australia.
Off the field.
Yeah, it's true. Kumar has 46 from 53, Jadav 44 from 56.
Swapandey says 6, and then he says 6, and then he says 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
That would be quite nice for India. I'm sure they'd like that. But whether it will happen or not, I don't know. Cummins then, 1 ball to go in his 9th over. He's got figures of 1 for 36. He bowls to Kumar, who's given himself run, but then chipped the ball up in the air. Is someone going to come in and take the catch? No, they're going to go back and take the catch. In fact, it's Aaron Finch running backwards out of the circle, takes a comfortable catch above his head, and Bhuvi has finally gone. A bit of a leading edge there. 223 for 7.
There was nothing I could change. I was gonna go out strange.
And Yol does the Twitter curse. Says Bhuvi Kumar to open with Dhawan. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, circle of cricket, you say. Where does it fall according to Dante's classification of the circles of hell purgatory?
I couldn't tell you that. Bhuvi goes for 46 off 54 balls. A great effort from him. Brought India back into the game after they looked dead and buried at, I think, 130 odd for 6. And a shame that he couldn't go on and finish it off like he did against Sri Lanka 2 years ago. But there you go. That's cricket. It wasn't so much a leading edge as he gave himself room and rather scooped that inside out, didn't he, towards Finch at mid-off.
Well, the point was that Finch was in the circle at mid-off, and you don't have to get all of the ball to clear the guy and for it to run down to the boundary for 4, but he just got it a bit too high.
You think that's what he was trying to do? Just clear mid-off?
You look for the gaps, don't you? I mean, and if the mid-off's up, you think you can clear him. It sort of went over his head, but he could walk back a few
plenty
steps.
of time to go back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Means that Mohammed Shami comes out to join Kedar Jadab, so I think he needs to play a couple of big shots, and Kedar Jadab just needs to keep going.
The Beijing Ducks are back.
Hey.
Just to remind you, we got a lot right, but not all of it. Must have to listen to the Awesome Gorillas for a better insight into the game. Or Brexit. Or session musicians.
What was, as Richardson starts a new over, to Jadab, and he's pulled that up in the air. I don't think he's got enough on it. He's going to be caught. It's a second wicket in 2 balls. He's caught on the deep mid-wicket boundary. India are falling away. Well, you don't give a catch to Glenn Maxwell and expect to get away with it. He ran round the boundary. Didn't have to go too far, to be fair. Pouched it very safely indeed. And now Kedar Jadab has gone 223 for 8.
After you've gone.
They're probably playing on that record, Fred. Some of them.
Well, this is unfortunate for India. They've lost those 2 important wickets in 2 balls, and Richardson has a wicket as well. Both those men, Bhuvi Kumar and Kedar Jadab, going in the 40s. Jadab 44 from 57. They'd got them back in the game. They'd given themselves an opportunity, and then suddenly the door has been slammed shut on them. Anyone think India have got a chance here now?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
So we're going to have to say Australia have come back from 2-0 down to probably win a 5-match series 3-2. A great effort from them.
In India.
In India as well.
Yeah.
We've been joined by Ibrahim Jan, who says out. Yes, it was. IK Imran Khan says ha ha ha. Suresh Raman says, now we've all come to know the importance of why Dhoni is a must.
Well, I was asking that question of people on our YouTube feed. Were they missing the calm head of MS Dhoni? I think they were. They did a good job though. Bhuvi Kumar and Jadab just couldn't finish it off. Talking of Jadab, we now got a Yadav, Kuldeep, who's come to the wicket. He's a left-hander and he's taking guard. They got a tune that goes like this.
I thought that Kuldeep was science fiction until I saw him today. Now that
Get ready to dance, head down at the end of this jingle.
It bowls him a bouncer and he ducks under it. There was a potential for a wide there, but it wasn't given. And
that was awful, wasn't it?
So was that
Scoop.
The chip, that was the previous one.
That was previous over, wasn't it? Cummins took the wicket with the last ball of the over. Richardson took the next wicket with the first ball of a new over. He's got 1 for 43. He's in his 9th over. Pacing up round the wicket to the left-hander, who tries to jab this down to third man but makes no contact. Through it goes to Carey.
Simultaneous sharp intake of breath between Nestlers and myself. I thought he'd got a little nick on that.
Oh no. Well, this is a remarkable performance from Australia, and it does raise the question now. I think what this series has done has made us realise, along with the ODI series in the Caribbean, that there are more competitors or genuine competitors for this World Cup than we thought. He bowls again banging it into the pitch. It's glided off his hip by Kuldeep down to fine leg. They take a single.
Can I give you a horrible thought?
Depends what it is.
Australia win the World Cup and then win the Ashes.
Oh dear!
All here.
Oh God!
Get about 100 to 1 double against the pair of them.
You know that. You now
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
nervous. I hadn't even thought of that. I hadn't thought that was possible.
Well, I can't believe there was a nightmare scenario that Hendo hadn't thought of.
No, I do tend to have quite a few nightmare
Always
scenarios.
look on the bright side of life. No, not Hendo.
No, of course not. To be daft. He comes in, bowls, and it's pulled down to long leg. It just dropped short of I think Ashton Turner down there. They come through for.
It was a left-hander.
One. Who else could that be?
Get the big boned opera songstress to warm up. Start the tuck already, or pick your cliche. It looks cooked here.
Who says that?
Armchair Cricket Podcast.
He's absolutely right.
Mwazem Turikul says, great comeback for Australia. Prabhu Dinu says, Dhawan against proves how inconsistent he is. I really don't understand why Dhawan gets so much chance.
Touched away into the onside. They're going to try to come back for a second, but no. And just as Kuldeep had turned and gone 3 or 4 yards, he realised that Finch had swooped on it and was hurrying back, and that is the end of the 47th over, I think.
Kunal Talani has sent a tweet from Bilal. Says South Africa lost to India at home, Australia lost to South Africa at home, India lost to Australia at home.
They're all shit.
Cricket.
England will lose the World Cup at home. There we go. That's the obvious corollary of that.
Oh no! And he said, "No, don't say that live on air."
Pinaki Bhattacharya says, too much experimentation. Rishabh Pant should be kicked out.
It's a bit harsh on Rishabh. I don't think he should be keeping
the
wicket.
recriminations are starting.
I think you could possibly play him as a batsman, but he's not had a chance to do too much yet. I mean, you've got to have a little bit of patience with these guys. You can't expect them to come and walk into a team and start ripping it up.
Indian fans look very unhappy.
They do indeed. Well, they need 15 and over. They need 47 from 18 balls. Cummins bowls. Kuldeep opens the face. They're going to go for a single. No, he's been sent back. The throw comes in, well backed up by Cummins himself. So no overthrows conceded.
I'm going to play that jingle again.
I thought that Kuldeep was science fiction until I saw him today. Now that Yadav is my addiction, I've thrown all that Virat junk away.
Is there a sadder sight?
It's just that I want more of that end bit.
3 dads dancing. That sounds like it's from a carol. In 5
gold rings,
flicked away in the air past the square leg umpire, but I think they're only going to be able to get one as a good throw comes in pretty much over the top of the stumps from Marcus Stoinis. 46 required from 16 balls, 2 wickets to fall.
Good tweet from Jeff Perkins. There is no way that under the strong and stable leadership of Teresa that England could possibly crash out of both the World Cup and the Ashes, not with 3 backstops in the side.
Very good, Perko.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it?
227 for 8. We're 2 balls into the 48th over. Australia have got this in the bag, surely. Cummins bowls wide of the off stump, and it's a horrible shot that comes. It was a cross-batted effort that came right off the foot of the bat, ran up to Marsh at mid-on.
I presume Khawaja will get man of the match, but Cummins has been great, says Yol.
Well, Cummins has been great throughout the series, apart from the first ODI when he failed to take a wicket. I think 0 for 46. That's still not bad bowling, is it? He's taken 14 wickets now in this series.
Khawaja most runs this series.
Comfortably so.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, beating Virat by 73. 383 runs for him. Now, the batsman tries to swing this slower, shorter one away, but makes no contact. Was probably deceived by the pace.
They've given up a bit, haven't they?
Well,
Ash Cambo says hello. And Francis Corey says Warner Smith back in the side or not? World Cup.
You got to pick.
Well, they will be. I mean, absolutely. I'm certain of that. Adam Zampa's taken 11 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav 10.
Well, Australia have got the top 2 wicket takers this series as well.
And Zampa he bowled some filth today, but he also bowled some good balls. much is the way of a leg spinner. Cummins again, short. He tries to pull this one away. It's nearly ridden that on his helmet. Somehow it missed, and it's taken down the leg side by the wicket keeper. 2:27 for 8. 1 ball remaining in this over, and then we will have 2 overs and 46 required. And it doesn't look to me as if these two have got the muscle for that.
Yeah, that was a slower ball bounce, 117 kph, which is what is it, about 80?
Yeah, not very quick. Quick enough.
Not up to his usual pace.
Turns again. This is his final ball of the day, of the series. This one is connected with, played really nicely by Shami, but again it's only going to be the one. Out to deep, backwards square leg, where Richardson fields. 2 overs remaining. Too many runs required.
Yeah, happy Oz win, says Ada Gul Hamdard. It's not quite happened yet, but I think it's strongly on the cards.
I think we can almost safely say that
the fat lady is.
She's
in the dressing room going.
She's gargling.
She's gargling. Yes, she's gargling. Does that equate to? Is that a saying that equates to India?
No.
I mean, would Indians understand that?
Oh, what, gargle?
No, not gargle, but the
singing.
fat lady singing. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big opera scene.
Is it cross-cultural?
In India?
Where does that come from? It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Well, because usually at the end of an opera.
Richardson in bowls, pulled by Shami, just dropping short and then plugging a little bit as the man from deep backward square comes around the field.
The last aria is usually sung by the fat lady.
The two-man job.
You have to have a fat lady in opera. It's obligatory.
Not anymore, but once upon a time the best singers all had a certain heft about them.
You need big lungs, don't you? Big lungs.
Sometimes, they were playing Carmen, the young gypsy girl, and they were sort of 23 stone Italians. Didn't quite work.
I've got a good tweet from Mezzy Jez I'll read out after this.
Around the wicket, Richardson to Kuldeep, who swings this away down to mid-on. Aaron Finch just ambles around the field. He's not worried by anything now.
10 balls.
Every now and then I see something on Facebook Live which defies description.
Oh my word.
Nestler's Fred and Hendo doing something which Hendo liberally describes as dancing renews my faith in the existence of parallel universes.
I said dad dancing, despite the fact that I don't think any of us are dads here.
The truth is, you can go on to our, when this game is over, you'll be able to watch this video again. So just fast forward to that point.
We should play that jingle again before the game's up.
Richardson bowls. He goes for a big swing. He's going to be caught and bowled. Didn't go very far. It went up in the air. Richardson followed it in, took the catch. He has a second wicket. India are subsiding to defeat. They're 230 for 9. I like that. Sounds a bit John Barry-ish to me.
Yeah.
Well done, Kai Richardson. He's played his part in this match. A lovely little innings of 29 earlier on. And he's now picked up a couple of wickets. Shami, the latest of those to go. And he went for 3 from 7 deliveries.
Is he the Australian Stephen Finn?
Who, Kai Richardson?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
I don't know, just has that look about him.
No, he's not as tall or gangly, is he?
You think?
No.
He's not as good.
No. He's taller than that, isn't he, Stephen Finn? Much taller.
Yes. Not over till the fat jingler sings is the cricket equivalent, surely. Except by this stage that has already happened a lot. Chan has tweeted in. We grew up on Tony Greig, of course. We all know about the fat lady. I always thought it was Bianca Castafiore singing "Ah, My Beauty."
Okay.
Could have been.
Last man out. He in his last international, Jasprit Bumrah shocked us all by hitting his one and only ball for a rather impressive 6 over long on. Well, he's got to do that several times now because there are only 9 balls remaining and 43 runs required. So we'll see what he can do.
On Jasprit Bumrah, I find myself lifted to the sky, lifted up above the world to see.
Low grip on the batters. Richardson is in and he's trying to take evasive action at that one. He's worn that on the shoulder, if anything, and then he just rubs it down. Nearly looped up to the wicketkeeper, but fell short of him. I don't think there was any bat involved or glove even. But, as we look at Shami's dismissal again,
I
really
just
didn't
thought
get hold of
jingle
that
for
at all.
the end of the game. It's a song from the Electric Light Orchestra, Out of the Blue, which is "It's Over, It's over.
Thank you for that,
It's
Fred.
over.
Singing.
Oh,
and
I know the one
dancing.
you mean. Yes, I do know the one you mean. Oh, now he's trying to duck under that one, as it seemed to follow
As
him.
they
He
need
wasn't
7
in a
runs
very
more.
good position to play that. 7 balls remaining, 43 runs required. Australia have done the unthinkable. They've come back from 2-0 down in India to win this one-day international series 3-2.
George Paulson says cutting and chopping will not win World Cup. MD Litton says ha 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 India. George Paulson says shame on the Indian cricket team, and Krish Khurana says ha 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 India lose when two ODIs in front.
Indeed, Richardson again full. This time he plays at the ball without any foot movement, gets a very thick inside edge that goes flying down towards long leg, and he'll keep the strike. 42 required off 1 over.
Not going to happen. Knackle is tweeting in saying Hendo keeps calling him Kai Richardson as though he's made a verbal typo. J and K are right next to each other on the QWERTY keyboard. Also see Joe Toot.
That could be it, couldn't it? That's what it is. I speak like a typewriter.
MS Tony is not the solution to India's middle order problems. He's the cause. For more than a year, everything has been done to accommodate him and get him into form. While
Well,
instead
there's 2-0 up when he was playing.
Yeah, well, is Knackle saying that?
No.
Who's
Chan.
saying that? Okay. Well, it's an opinion. I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'll finish the tweet if I can.
Okay.
No, let's talk about it halfway through.
Well, instead, we could have put a middle order around Jadav, DK, Pant, and now Shankar.
Well, you still can.
You still can.
Nothing's stopping you.
Abhishek Chopra is with us.
230 for 9, swung away, cross-batted by Kuldeep. It's actually a very good shot. Away through Cow for 4.
That's a wig.
And as it happens, as I said earlier, I think in the 44th over or 43rd over that they needed to find one more over from someone who wasn't Cummins or Richardson, and it's turned out to be Stoinis. As it is, he's been hit for 4, and he bowls a very wide one. Is it going to be given as a wide? It's probably not worth it at this stage, but it is. And I suppose it means an extra ball. It means one fewer run required. 38 runs off 5 balls.
Wide. Greetings from Bombay, gentlemen.
Hello,
Apologies for
Abhishek.
joining you at the fag end because fuck capitalism.
Yeah, who needs it? Well, we do, actually.
And Abhishek Chopra says Nestlers, heart, heart, heart.
Oh, how lovely.
That's nice, isn't it?
Stoinis bowls. Swung away again in the air. Is it going to reach the man on the boundary? It does, who sticks out a hand, Hanscom and Field. I think they should have got more than one there. Jasperi couldn't have been running very hard. It's a pretty decent shot again by Kuldeep. 37 required from 4 balls. 236 for 9. Jasperi rather unnecessarily takes guard.
They can still do this, Endo. They can still do this.
Only with a couple of wides.
More than that.
Well, more than that. Well, if they got a couple of wides, that would take them down to 35. But no, yeah, they need about 12 wides.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Could happen.
Unlikely.
It ain't over.
Well, he's not looking too happy, Justin Langer, considering what they've achieved here. This is pulled away. It drops short of the man at, the umpire at square leg, and runs away from him down to long leg. For a single, first run for Jasperi Bumrah. He's on to 237 for 9.
I'm trying to queue up YouTube here.
Indian team look a bit shell-shocked.
Well, they will be, definitely. I mean, I think even when Australia got 272, I have to say that I think India were my favourites to win this. And, well, you can't complain about the due today, can you, Virat Kohli? Because you batted second. He's in, makes room for himself outside the leg stump, and then carves this through the covers. It'll only be a single. In fact, they don't even bother with the single. They've totally and utterly given up.
He's protecting the strike.
He's protecting Bumrah from the strike. 237 for 9. 2 balls remaining in this series, which has really been turned on its head in the last 3 matches by Australia. Stoinis in his 4th over. He comes right down the wicket and nearly
Not a wide,
headbutts the ball in the process. It was a short one, and he almost ducked into it. I think it just went over the top of his helmet. But it wasn't a very encouraging shot. 237 for 9. 1 ball remaining in this incredible series. Incredible. We'll be back, of course, on Friday for Ireland v Afghanistan. Test cricket, I tell you, Test cricket. After 5 one-day games, and of course a few one-day games in the West Indies we brought you as well. Here's Stoinis in bowls a Yorker and takes out his middle stump. Well, what a way to end emphatically. 237 all out India. Australia win by 35 runs. They come back from 2-0 down. They are now involved in a mass huddle. It is over, I'm afraid, for India. There will be some talking at press conferences. And Justin Langer is smiling. My goodness, has anyone ever seen that before? He's very happy with life right now.
So much for thanks for covering this, lads. Save me from the appalling Foxtel comms, says Messi Jez.
Well, we do our best, Messi. And hopefully you've enjoyed it.
The Beijing Ducks final prediction didn't come through.
What was the final prediction? Remind me.
Bumrah, the bunny, hits 2 consecutive sixes.
Well, I suppose we had 1 6 the other day from him. We couldn't expect miracles. But there you go. Have you got any final comments on circular cricket?
Sabs Ali Khan, Anas Iqbal, and Krish Kumar, who tries to drag some how shall I put
humour
it?
from the situation?
Well, no, he says, but IPL is more important.
Yeah, and you'll be able to hear some of the IPL as much as we can manage when that gets underway on the 23rd of March. Well, what a performance that's been. Usman Khawaja, you can look no further for a man of the series than Usman Khawaja. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's hit 200s, he's hit a 90 and a 50. His lowest score of the series was 38, I think it was, when he was momentarily bemused by Kedar Jadhav and his slingy action. But otherwise, he has been the star of the show. He's overshadowed even Kohli, who also hit 2 centuries in the series. But a very proud Aaron Finch now wandering off, shaking hands with the Indian team that is waiting on the edge of the field to congratulate them. Chahal and Maxwell have a little bit of a hug as well. One of those newfangled sort of handshake stroke hugs that I don't really understand. Chris Dealey dishes them out occasionally here, and I don't really get it at all. But anyway,
Abhishek Chopra has tweeted in, says wants to rant about India's ODI team, but too tired, and disappointed.
I understand.
Half-hearted rants are terrible.
Yeah, well, you know, sort of try and wind yourself up tonight, and then come back to the Ireland-Afghanistan game on Friday and let it all out. 4 o'clock in the morning, absolutely. Something to keep us awake. That's it then from Guerrilla Cricket for this series. Well, have you got any final tweets?
Yes.
Oh, go on then. Let's read those out then.
So Knuckles says, cricket, bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
And he says, plug the Afghanistan-Ireland test, which you just have.
I have.
Reverse Swept is coming back for the first time in ages.
Looking forward to that, seeing Andy Ryan. He's been in Paris for all this time.
Farokari is back. And Afghanistan have called Syed Shridaz and left-arm wrist spinner Zahir Khan into the squad.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Abhishek Chopra says, excuse me. Thank you for all the awesomeness throughout the series. You guys are awesome.
We are pretty awesome.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says thanks to the Guerrilla Cricket commentary team for keeping us entertained during the ODI series. And Abhishek says I'm shamelessly going for an IPL game. Don't judge.
You're going to one? Well, I don't think...
Or going for an IPL game.
Well, going where for an IPL game?
I don't know. We don't judge. We're going to be commentating on some of it.
Exactly.
And Kunal Talani says, thanks, Guerrilla Cricket guys. See you for the Afghan Island test. Yeah, well, you're most welcome. Tell your friends.
I really am looking forward to that. What I'm not looking forward to is getting up at 3:30 in the morning to come and do it. But once you get here, you're all right.
You've got to get up earlier than that, haven't you?
Yes, 3 o'clock. Absolutely, no later than 3 o'clock.
You've got to wash and do your beard and...
Washing, I think that's sort of...
overrated.
Overrated when you're doing this programme. Certainly seems to be by the people that I sit around with. 2 wickets to Cummins for 38, 2 for 47 Richardson, 2 for 31 Stoinis, Lyon 1 for 34, very good 10 overs from him. Zampa, mixed bag, but he picked up 3 wickets, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 46. Maxwell bowled 6 overs for 34. It all kind of went wrong from about 91 for 2 to 132 for 6. Great effort by Kedar Jadhav and Bhuvi Kumar, but they didn't have enough in the tank, and Australia have ended up winners. Man of the series, as far as I'm concerned, has to be Usman Khawaja. Man of India has to be probably Virat Kohli. He scored 310 runs, but couldn't see them over the line. Any more observations
No.
to make? No. Well, in that case, we will be back at. Oh my goodness, what is it? Is it 4:30 start or 4 o'clock? I think it's 4:30.
4 o'clock, I think, yeah.
Oh, is it? Well, keep an eye on our schedule. Keep an eye on the Guerrilla Cricket website, actually, to confirm that. Also on Twitter, of course, we'll put out and remind you as we get closer to that. If you haven't already heard and watched us on YouTube, please go to YouTube and subscribe. The more of you subscribe, the better it is for us with regards to earning a little bit of cash. Anyway, until Friday, it's goodbye from everyone who's been here today. Nestle Boy,
see ya.
It's goodbye from Not Fred.
It's goodbye from him.
It's goodbye from the Bear.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Gaddy, that Gaddy made
See you later. It's
And
a
it's
tragic
goodbye.
day for the city of Liverpool.
It's
Absolutely
goodbye
tragic.
from Jason G. Hiscock.
India have won this
Until
absolutely
Friday,
guaranteed.
when you have a
Jason.
5 days of glorious Test match cricket, we hope. Or perhaps we wouldn't mind if it finished a day early. Join us again. Ta-da!
Steve McManaman.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara,